Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Beer Flow show. I am your host, or guided host, or one of the hosts. I don't know what I am really. I'm just kind of here, but it is my channel. That's what it is. So, welcome, everyone. Of course, with me, we got Eric here from Eric and Lions Fan. What's going on, brother? And then we got Todd, also on the show from Indiana. You know, Todd channel still TBA. We're still working on that, kind of a secret thing out there. Hopefully everybody's off to a great Thursday, headed into hopefully a better Friday and into the weekend.
I wish it would stop raining again.
We're going with the weather report. Going with the weather report.
Starting early tonight.
And I'm going to pull up the chat. As you can see, we are a man down. So we don't have our buddy Joe here tonight, and so that means I have to pull up the comments because Joe's not here to handle his business. So wishing Joe best. Joe's at a special event tonight for the family, so good for him. I know he's having a good time, and we'll try to cover for him for not being here. But let me go ahead and grab the stream stuff. Switch over on my YouTube here. And of course, one big story came out earlier, which Joe actually made us alert to, that we have to tackle. I've been back and forth on Twitter about that as well. I don't know if you've seen some stuff out there, Eric. I know you're on Twitter that's also doing things.
I haven't seen much out there, although I just kind of scroll past pretty much everything and then stop at the ones I want to read. So
let me see.
I don't use it like I should. Let me put it that way.
That's what she said. Anyway.
Whoa.
That's what she said, joke already.
Low blow.
We're already. Okay.
But shout out to the people in the comments, the crew, our favorites that we love having here. 420's in the house.
420?
He said, listen to JC, the story of OJ Rod. I want to know what you think about it. Then I promise to stick to beer topics. It's a pretty good song. It's pretty good when you listen to the lyrics and everything along those lines. It hits on a lot of stuff that I would definitely agree with on that song. Cody Stark's in the house. Cody, our man Cody.
What's up?
Welcome, Cody. Bumpy Rose in the house. What's up, Jesse? What's the flow tonight, he says. We got Eric Gilbert in the house. Says, cheers, sons. Man, people are rolling in. He said, and Bumpy said, Joe is patrolling the fridge for beer. And Gilbert says, snipers have family. So, yeah, apparently that's what Joe told us, at least. That was
that's a cover-up. Exactly.
And welcome, Thrash. Thrash says, cheers, all. Welcome, brother. Bumpy said, low blows. She couldn't speak during that time. Yeah. And then Thrash with the rock on sign. And Cody Stark says, went to Frankenmuth Brewery with the family, now tearing it up with my cousin. Oh, things are about to get crazy at Cody's house. You know it's about to get crazy at Cody's house. And hopefully his cousin should start getting here typing away as well pretty soon.
Who passes out first?
Yeah. I wonder, is Four Loko involved this time again?
I hope not.
His cousin liked the little Four Loko. Mary Lou's in the house. Welcome, Mary. Says hello. It was good meeting you on the stream the other day as well. And Eric said, feeling good already, Cody, asking a question. We see Cody says, we can fill in for Joe, LAML. So Foamy Head's in the house too. He says, hey, everyone.
Cheers.
So welcome everybody here, and let me do a quick shout out there. So Bumpy Road, if you haven't checked out his channel, he does a lot of beer review stuff there. He also does some home brewing. Make sure you give him a look there. And any of the people in the comments, you can actually click 3 buttons to the right side by their name or off where their comment is, and you can go to their channel, check them out if you want to drop them a like or a subscribe. Also, Cody Stark. I think Cody just started his channel recently too, so
yeah,
he's a new one getting up there, brewing his own beer now, hitting that road. We also have Thrash Metal, who does a lot of brewing and a lot of other stuff on his channel, different beer, I think, reviews, and does some crazy live streams as well, so you can check him out too. And and who else do I have? And Mary Luzon, who just came in. She has a channel I met on the stream the other day. I think that's everybody with the channels out there right now. If I missed anybody, let me know. Bumpy says he's about to drink Bumpy says he's about to drink a tropical torpedo. Hope I don't get loose glass. Oh yeah, I remember that story about the glass breaking off. You'll be all right. Just suck it up. Be a man. Be a man. Bumpy. Be a man. And Eric says never seen it here in Lansing. Went too fast. Talking about the strawberry M43s that Cody had and some beer from the brewery. So yeah, Cody's about to get lit. L-I-T lit. And Eric Lyons fan, of course, who's in there. You can hit the buttons there. His. And Eric, who can speak for himself because he is part of the show here, but he does the beer reviews, does Detroit sports, does some other things, I think. You still do like your rants? Are you doing the rants anymore?
No, well, if the Lions or Tigers play bad, you might see a rant, but other than that, no. And I do my weekend rambles where I don't do them on a weekly basis as I do anymore, but kind of like I've been trying to do them like once every 2 weeks or once a month. I'll just sit in front of the camera and just talk to the camera kind of more or less like I'm talking to you guys and Rod and Todd and some of you guys out there in the chat. That's pretty much how I do it. Kind of other stuff that's been happening, health issues, stuff that may be coming up on the channel that not necessarily sports related or beer related. Like I'm going to start doing some car shows and might film a couple cars at the local car show, like doing that stuff. So if you guys want to give me a like Rod said, on the right hand side, you see the 3 little elliptical things. Click on it. It'll take you right to our channel.
So you're becoming a well-rounded YouTuber.
Trying, man. Trying, brother.
And I am drinking a Brute IPA right now, people.
Is it the last one?
No, I haven't drank it since last week, so I had 4, I think, in the fridge. So all the other ones I was drinking, doing reviews. My review log right now, can't get it going the right way. I got 66 beer reviews I haven't shared yet that I got to queue up and get out there. So
old your beard was black when you first had to.
You're all grain. So the one that doesn't count the ones I reset for this weekend that are out there. So really it's like 69. So
69.
Yeah. Cue your jokes.
I'm such an innuendo for the short stream already. That's what she said.
Starting early.
And also Fishing with Grizzly Whiskers. New here. We just met the other day. Love your channel and appreciate it. And check out Fishing with Grizzly as well. He's actually got an outdoor type show, so everybody getting into like the hunting type thing as the weather breaks or fishing and all that kind of good stuff. Make sure you check him out. You could hit those 3 dots by him, get a little sub and like and things like that. Yeah, we just met on the stream the other day, had some great conversations, talked some different tech stuff around YouTube and how to actually improve the channels. Drunken One's in the house. Welcome, Drunken One. Cheers, brother. And if you don't know Drunken One by now, you need to. So, you want to check out his channel. And he brews, he does other stuff. He does walks, he grows garden vegetables. He's doing anything he thinks of doing, he just does it on YouTube. So, good guy. Check out his stuff there. Foamy Head's working on a bomber of Torino from Real Ale Brewing and says, cheers. And let me see here. Drunken One says, streaming with the Rhino right now. Stop back later. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. Go to the competitor. That's fine.
We see how it is.
Yeah. See how you are. And then head coach says, sipping on Pendleton. Cheers, friends. Welcome, AC. Always great to have you in the house. It's been a while since we've spoken, actually. So welcome, brother. And head coach says, I love the beer, Papa Smurf. I've not gotten a Papa Smurf thing, so I don't know if this is a blue-black thing or what. I have gotten a Santa Claus, but I haven't gotten a Papa Smurf, so that's pretty fun.
Come on, man. Come on.
Rod, I can't say anything. Mine's all gray, but it's like just in the chin and it's like patchy.
Yeah, right. It's all in there. Now we get it in there. I got to actually shake it again to get that trimmed down.
Those damn millennials.
Yeah.
Sorry, John. Sorry.
I'm letting it come in. The sooner I'll start talking like Morgan Freeman. So, Eric's drinking an orange Gatorade and a Polish beer. Yeah, we haven't seen what beer. What's the name of your beer you're drinking, Eric?
I think it's pronounced Tyskie. Let me bring it right up here so you guys can see it. It's beer from Poland. Comes in. I did a review on it. Where's it? Blah, 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 blah. Goodness, I need glasses.
You need readers.
I do. I need cheaters. Exactly what I need are cheaters. 12 fluid ounces, 5% ABV.
Nice. Is it like a lager then?
Yeah, European lager.
All right, cool. And what are you drinking, Todd?
I've got my last Top Juju from Fatheads.
Oh, Fatheads.
So it's a couple months old, but still tasting pretty damn good.
Yeah. Those extra chins.
Yep.
But Eric, you're drinking the Polish, and if you guys haven't tried Polish beer out there, it's actually not a bad style to actually try. In fact, I know over in Poland, they've been getting some pretty good raves about how their craft beer has been stepping up. So if you're ever in a place and you want to try different beer from a different country, Poland's not a bad one to actually start with.
Drinking a Polak beer.
See, you had to go there. Cody said he bottled his cream ale a couple days ago. Nice. You have to let us know how it all tastes and stuff when it's all finished here.
Now wait a minute. Was that the one he brewed the malt liquor? Was it that one?
No, this was just a cream ale, not the malt liquor.
Oh, come on, brother.
You brew a malt liquor, Cody. Eric will probably drive over to pick it up.
Oh yeah, I'll drive over to pick it up. I'm like, give me that keg, brother.
And to Mary LOL, she liked the Papa Smurf comments. Okay, I see that. All right.
That's where it's going.
Thrash says he's drinking a Grolsch. So I haven't had one of those in about a year or two. Nice. Earth says Beer Flow Show. Oh yeah. I can imagine Earth saying, "Oh yeah."
I sent Earth the beer mail package. Let me know when it comes, buddy.
Oh,
should
nice.
be there Monday. Should be there Monday.
And the head coach says hello. He said Earth's my buddy. So yeah, him and Earth. And a lot of times they team up on Joe D's show as well. And Earth says, "What up, coach?" And Bumpy says, "I have loved every beer I've had from Fatheads." Fatheads does solid beers. Oh shit, Bum's in the house. Says Coach, Earth, Rod, Eric, Todd. All exclamation points.
What's up?
Welcome,
What up,
Bum.
brother?
It's been a bit. And the head coach says, "Bum, the original CBC, buddy." So yeah. So like I said, I'm drinking the Brute IPA. So despite whatever I was going to talk about previously, starting the show at about 4:44, everybody got kind of a thing, which I didn't find out till later because I was actually working. But thanks to Joe and our message board that we have between me and Joe and Todd, Boston Beer Company and Dogfish Head, huge news, sending shockwaves to the beer community. And let me say this right now. People, stop saying Samuel Adams merged with Dogfish Head. Samuel Adams is a brand of Boston beer.
Boston
beer merged with Dogfish Head. Actually, they purchased Dogfish Head for just over $300 million. I'm just saying, know your beer game, people.
Yeah.
Samuel Adams is a brand. It's not the company. It's a brand of Boston beer who has always owned Sam Adams.
And Sam Clone is still on the board, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Way I was reading.
Wow, Sam saw he probably at the casino tonight after he got paid,
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, Sam, he took, I think, all of their money, like in the shares of Boston Beer Company. So they can actually have their stake go up. I mean, it could go down if anything. But after hours trade, it had Boston Beer actually up. So it's an interesting move. It's something that I was caught off guard when I heard about it. Kind of surprised. Didn't see that coming yet. But I'm not totally surprised because I think this is also part of that trend we talked about previously where you're going to have some of these breweries starting to merge together. And it's going to be kind of the mergers taking place to kind of keep it out of the big beer hands. So instead of like Anheuser-Busch coming in or something like that, we saw it kind of this way in a smaller type realm when you had 6 Point get together with Victory, get together with Southern Tier. I think it's a matter now. Some of them are saying, well, just come with us. We'll keep things that way. We know the independent label. We know the independent distribution, and we can all work together. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out with you now having Dogfish Head getting the traction for wherever Boston Beer may be and how they're going to roll that out. So I know some people around the country still couldn't get Dogfish Head, so maybe you will now under them. And it's also a situation where they're not going to come in most likely and try to change anything for what they're actually doing. So don't know what your guys' thoughts are or feedback on it, but you guys want to comment, people in the comments want to comment, we can discuss.
Well, this is just my own 2 cents here. I don't know. I just think that with you guys stating that is the Boston Beer Company under the independent label, or is it more considered now like a macro, like your Bud Miller Coors, Pabst kind of folks? Now, again, they're like in the American Adjunct area, but still they're big enough to where they could sit at the table with one of the big boys. But we've said that before in many of our other podcasts. So is this something to where it like a big craft? Well, they're still under the independent label.
Right.
A big company like this is purchasing like another, and I thought Dogfish Head was still a pretty good sized company.
I think they were listed top 20 or at number 20, largest brewery in the country.
Are we starting to see that, maybe and I don't know how to put this, so I'm just going to put it out here, a little bit of disdain now that Boston Beer's bought Dogfish Head and be like, man, what the hell, Boston Beer bought Dogfish Head? I ain't going to buy any of their crap anymore. Are you going to start seeing that, or is it more or less kind of a welcomed kind of merger from two of the independent labels?
Right. So in my take on it, it's a situation that one, Boston Beer is seen as still being an independent brewer in that regard, right? So when Sam Adams was formed, it was never formed as Sam Adams as a company. It was formed as Boston Beer Company. Sam Adams was just one of the brands they have brought out, and they're one of the alcohol beverage members or whatever that board is that they're part of. And the way it works under the so-called craft beer rules, right, that are set by the Brew Association, all this kind of stuff, you can be a board member if you're an alcohol beverage board member. You're able to own more than 25% of a brewery and still be considered craft beer. So in that regard, they're kind of still looked at it that way. What they may run into is now the Brewers Association is how people will look at them, because they do get mixed views on how they kind of do arbitrary on how they're coming up with no more than 25%, no more than, it used to be 2 million, then it got moved to 6 million to keep Boston Beer in it. If they take on Dogfish Head, I don't know what their distribution is. So Boston Beer themselves are already pretty close to that 6 million barrel. You put Dogfish Head on top, whatever they were producing, they're going on the balance sheet for Boston Beer. That could put them over that 6 million and may push them out unless the Brew Association comes back again and they're saying, okay, now we'll go to 9 million barrels.
And that's what'll happen.
Right.
That's what'll happen.
They want to keep them as a part as long as they can, which then it becomes a point of when do you ever let something go? When do you let them go and you start focusing on the guys that are your 450 Norths, your Trilliums, your smaller breweries that are out there that should be getting the attention as well, and say, okay, you guys are now at the big boy table. We shoved you off. We pushed you off. You're out of here type thing. And I think that'll come back from a lot of the beer drinkers and what they think. There's a lot of people that don't drink really the Sam Adams line as much anymore that are true, like, I guess you could say, craft beer drinkers. Because in my opinion, I think myself, there's a lot of their stuff has went dull compared to the stuff we're seeing from some of the smaller breweries. They have some that still pop up. They make over 60 plus beers, but yet I could count on my hand probably, and that's probably maybe one hand, maybe 1.5 hands, how many I would actually want to go after to try from them that kind of come out each year. I mean, outside of, Utopias, which is like everybody wants to try that if they can get their hands on it. But some of their other stuff doesn't really make you move. Does it make you pick up a 6-pack? Do you look forward to all of a sudden, the Summer L's out, or the Cold Snap is out, or some of their other type stuff, Old Physic League is out? I don't think there's enough momentum behind that. They actually, I think, needed Dogfish Head to come to come in and maybe revitalize some of the stuff for their numbers. Question is, do people still go after the Dogfish Head now? Do you still look at 120 the same way? Look at the 90, the 60, the Pennsylvania Tuxedo, all these other Dogfish Head beers that you come to love. The Sequence Ale was banging. For people who were loving that ale, or people who like now take a disdain, like you were saying, Eric, and maybe not paying attention to the Sequence Ale as much because now it's under the Boston Beer label. Or people, their imaginations start coming out funny and saying, "Oh, I remember when they were by themselves. They tasted like this, and now they taste like this." It's like they haven't done anything to them. So
yeah, I think you're gonna get that anyway because you've already seen it from other companies like Lagunitas and other
and Budweiser and Wicked Weed,
right, and stuff like that where people
Anheuser-Busch.
You're gonna get the ones that's gonna say that just because the glamour at bottom, and it's like they're got it in their head that it's gonna change no matter what. Even though from some of the stuff I've had from those said breweries, to me, haven't been any different. But I think it's gonna. I think you're gonna get that either way. I mean, you're gonna get some, some that are gonna bitch just because they want to be bitching just to be happy. Yeah. And some are just still gonna follow. If they like Dogfish Head, and they're gonna still get them anyway. Probably same with Sam Adams.
Yeah, and some are just snobs that way too, right? So we do have that part of the population that are going to be just a snob regardless.
So in the article, did it say what the play was on that? Is it for distribution or?
They didn't get into it. They had more details to come. They kind of just talked about the purchase and the buyout was just over $300 million, with it being stock from Boston Beer and then some cash as well. They just mentioned Sam and his wife. I think they took the stock options. The idea is that distribution will open up for them in other areas because they'll be under that Boston Beer brand, who has the distribution already set up. So
$300 million, man, that's
Well, you don't know. Supposedly Trump lost $1 billion in 10 years. So I don't know. I can't imagine losing $1 billion in 10 years. Oh man, yeah.
I'd like to try though.
I would like to try too.
that would be lots of fun.
If I lived in the casino on the strip of Vegas and gambled every day, I don't think I could lose $10 billion in 10 years. I mean, $1 billion in 10 years. I just don't know if it's possible.
I guess it depends on how much you bet.
Yeah, right. But even then, if you're betting, you're doubling up and stuff like that. At some point, it's going to come back and pay you again.
Yeah, I was going to say, at some point, you got to have to. It's going to even out at some point.
Like, I've been to casinos before, and I've gotten the thing, and it's like you start going down, you're going down. It's like, oh, we'll just put it all out there. And then it hits, so you're double that back, right? Then you're back in, you get in a roll, and you're building it back up again. So it's kind of like, I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of sickening, all that money lost there. But $300 million is a lot of cash. That's a lot. I mean, somebody sits across from you, we want to go ahead and merge or buy your company, and we're offering you this amount. I don't know a lot of people that can walk away from $300 million.
Well, and the thing too, like Dogfish Head not that long ago was on the verge of kind of going bankrupt themselves. At least if you believe, when he had his TV show out, that's what he kind of made it sound like. It was a struggle at that point,
Which we know in the craft beer world, you have the ebbs and the flows of the business model. So, you could be going great, and all of a sudden things turn a certain way, and all of a sudden your brewery's not the favorite kid on the block anymore.
Right.
And then you end up taking a hit there.
Well, I've always kind of thought of Dogfish Head, as kind of an okay beer, not really anything to get really excited about. The 120 people seem to get excited about. Now, I haven't had the Pennsylvania Tuxedo, so I can't say to that. But every kind of beer that I've had from them has been like, okay, it's all right. But do I ever go back to Dogfish Head? No, not really.
Well, they've always kind of made it a point to be kind of on the thinking out of the box for the for most of their beers, which I think says in their description, I think on the bottle or something. I forgot how it reads, but they're kind of known for being out there and being different and being kind of weird or whatever. And whether it's good or bad, it's just kind of what they've always been. At least that's the way I see it anyway.
Yeah, and they take different risks on different things. I mean, they've got some that stand out. Would I say their whole suite is like A+ rated? No, I mean there's some that didn't hit as much for me, but I mentioned Pennsylvania Tuxedo. That was actually one of the first solid like spruce type beers that I had. It's got a real good taste to it. Nice distinctive quality. I think about their red and white, which is one of their wine beers they had done wine barreling, which was really good as well. Like I said, their Sequench Ale. It's hard to find a lot of people that anybody I've met that tries the Sequench Ale hasn't come away. I haven't had not one person say they didn't like it. I mean, it's got a nice refreshing feel. This is a big time for it now, hitting spring, hitting summer, and all that stuff. But do I go out there and always want to say, oh, you know what? I've had a 60 in a long time. Let me get a 60-minute one. No, not really. If I see it somewhere, I may pick it up, or if it's on tap, I may have it if I had the other beers on there. So in a way, some of their beers may have also ended up kind of like how Boston Beer and Sam Adams is. Some of them are out there. You may not have something in a while. You'll go ahead and you'll have it because you haven't you're feeling that taste and you're thinking you want to check it out because it's been a while.
Yeah, and that kind of falls under for most of the breweries, really, though. Yeah. You see a lot of this stuff out there that you just don't pick up on that you can get all the time. You just kind of get away because everybody's always looking for the new thing or the something that you haven't tried before.
Right. I mean, I went to one of the stores last week, grabbed a bottle of beer and some other stuff, and they had probably 3 feet high, 4 feet high, like 6 packs of zombie dust, that were there. Like usually those things fly out. As soon as somebody finds them, they usually tell somebody else, or hey, we got zombie dust. And it's like they were just sitting there, nobody's really looking at them, paying attention to them. Fresh zombie dust, So, the market changes based on what people are looking for, what they want to try. Now, at a period, they will sell those zombie dust, but it's not like it used to be. Like as soon as it hit the floor, it was gone within an hour.
And that's kind of when you look at somebody like Other Half and a 450 North that are making beers galore every couple weeks, and it's like maybe, not to say everybody can thrive doing that, but it seems like they've kind of found their niche and know that people are always looking for something new. So why not make something new and have it every couple weeks? Like tomorrow, 450 North is, granted just 2 weeks ago they had to release 7 cans. Tomorrow they're doing another 8 cans, and then 3 weeks starting from tomorrow there'll be another 6, 7, 8 can release. It's like, and and they'll sell out within hours, and it's just like chances of you getting that beer again, maybe they're going to make it again, but who knows when. So it's on to the next.
Yeah, that's a good point. I could segue to something else from that, but I'm going to wait a second. Because actually, on one of my videos, Ethan from his channel made a comment that I responded to, but I'm going to come back to that because I'm going to actually check some of the comments out here as well. Let's see here. Where leave off at? Head coach says, thanks, Rod, Todd, and Eric, for the love. So appreciate you, head coach, man, for being here. Speaking of love, if you guys like and love what you're seeing, make sure to hit that like button, hit that thumbs up. Mary Luzon says, I'm from just outside St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. Where is everyone from? So we're all here in the States on the show. So I'm in basically northern Kentucky, but the Cincinnati area. And then Todd's in Indiana and Eric is in Michigan. And everybody else can type comments if they want to respond there. We do have some Canadian people that usually watch as well, Mary, so they should pop in here in a bit. Cody says, I'll let you know how it turns out. I've got to rock the Cashmere IPA from Frankenmuth. It's awesome beer. You could actually see the brewing process while you're eating at the brewery. That's pretty cool. Yeah, if I ever get up in that part of the town, from what I've heard about that brewery, that would be definitely a nice brewery I would want to go to. And Eric, I don't know if you've ever thought about going up there to Frankenmuth, but
I've walked past it. I walked past the brewery, but never been in it.
Definitely from one of my friends that brought me back beer from there. I would definitely recommend it. From what Cody's saying, seems to be a pretty cool place. And Bumpy says, going back to the Boston beer, it's underpendent because they keep changing parameters. Well, with the Brewers Association that kind of sets that, which is made up of people from brewing, different breweries and all that kind of stuff. They've only changed it twice. The one time I know was to go from 2 million to 6 million barrels. I haven't been able to find out what the other time was, but I know it was actually, again, to keep, from what I was told, Boston Beer as a member as well. So Eastwind Farms in the house. You can also check out Eastwind Farms. And he says Rick James, because he had some Rick James jokes from Dave Chappelle show on his channel a while back. So he's in love with the Rick James stuff now. But he's a fun channel. And if you catch him at nighttime, he usually has the disco ball going, different lights, has the jams playing. You can really kick back, relax, and hear some good music there, too. Bumpy says he does not want utopias. He doesn't like hard liquor, and that high of an alcohol I would not enjoy. Would you not, though? Maybe even in a 1 ounce dose?
It's pretty good.
I do want to try it. If I ever see it, I'm going to get it. I mean, yeah, you've had it before, though.
Yeah. My neighbor got a bottle of it given to him. At that price range, I don't know that I'd buy it, but it's definitely worth trying. I thought it was pretty good.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I need to find it here, like at Jungle Gyms. One of the women I work with, her husband found it at Jungle Gyms when they had it. Like one time that he found it there, and they were selling it for like 80.
Oh, wow.
So they sell it for 80, but it's when it gets resold to people that people jack it up to like the 120 or 130.
Yeah.
I don't know if all the retail places can sell it that high of a markup, but I know that they got it. She said it was like $80 when they bought it there.
I'd probably not all, at a one-time thing, I would probably do that.
Yeah. Just to, kind of chalk it off the list. So
if nothing else, the bottle's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is a pretty cool bottle for sure. Cody says, just opened my strawberry M43, first one I've ever had. You can really smell the strawberry. But Eric says, send me one, Cody. You would get it in a day for sure, so it'll be fresh. Bumpy says Sam's wife was like, we got 11 years left on Earth. Let's retire and live on a permanent vacation. Maybe. I mean, you got all that moolah there. I don't see Sam getting out of the business, though. From everything I've read about him, I think he's pretty much in there still for a while. Cody says, Eric, get in touch with me, and I'll send you one for sure. It got you covered. Yeah, so Cody's got your back. Bumpy says, is this a possible sign that because of the brewery boom, the money is not there anymore as a business front? I don't know. I don't know if that's part of it. I think it's I think the money is still there in craft brewing. We see that craft breweries are taking a bigger piece of the pie as far as money coming in from beer. Even though beer has been cut back on, it's been really felt more by some of the bigger boys that are out there. So I think it's more maybe a situation of where the beer actually is in comparison. Like, you got to have some type of hold in some areas now for your beer to actually sell. So some of the ones not being sold are struggling for maybe not being a part of the community there, so to speak. That'd be my take on it. And that's that's one of the things that Tallgrass brought up when they took a hit, is that they realized they stretched out so far that people weren't buying it. They were buying the community stuff, and they weren't part of that community.
True. I was going to say, you kind of might have been onto something. Who knows what's going on in their personal life? Maybe somewhat to that extent of, hey, let's, $300 million, sell it and don't have to worry about it now. Like I said, I think he's still on the board with Boston Beer Company, but
yeah,
if you have a chance, I mean, anybody's up for sale. I mean, let's face it. Somebody come along tomorrow, and Budweiser's come along and said, I'll give you give Boston Beer Company $1 billion or something, they probably maybe would do it. Who knows? But
yeah, you never know. I mean, you don't know until those zeros are looking at you.
Yeah, and so who knows what he's got going in his personal life, and $300 million. Be like, all right, less struggles and hassles and stress. Now he can kind of get out of it and make his money.
Yeah,
it is interesting, though. I mean, for sure. When you see those kind of takeovers happen with a bigger brand like Dogfish Head was.
Yeah. It was interesting when it happened from stuff that I was reading after finding out, because there weren't really any murmurs out there. There wasn't really any kind of innuendo out there. Usually with so many things that are happening, there's usually something of a little bit of a crack there, loose lips or whatever you want to call it, that other people seem to be getting little leaks out. And this was just like, no, bam, we're done. It's wrapped up. Here we go. So it was kind of surprising how fast it all came together there.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of out of left field for sure.
Yeah. And then Bumpy said he's from New Hampshire, United States. Although he put NH United States, I don't know if he thought be confused between NH and had to say United States behind it. But yeah, is there NH in Canada? I don't know.
I don't know if there
There's
is.
New Brunswick, I know, but I don't know anything else. So, but Bumpy's from New Hampshire or New Hampshire. Which way is it? I don't know. People say it different ways. JP4 in the house. What's up, JP4? He said, "Hey there." So welcome, JP. I don't know if you, JP. I think you've been on the stream before. I know you. We just met a while back. So JP's actually got a pretty cool channel too. If you like gaming, he does a lot of the gaming videos on his channel as well. So you can also check him out if you're into that. And then Eastwind said, "Bumpy, New Hampshire here too." That's right, because Eastwind's up there in New Hampshire as well. JP says, got to do a vid here on the Stevens Point Brewery. There you go. I'm trying to think. Stevens Point. Wait a minute. Stevens Point. What state are you in, JP? And then Cody says the strawberry is pretty obvious in the beer. Very good. Earth says Utopia sell for $185 to $250 here, depending on if you have a connect or not. So you gotta know somebody. You gotta have one of those people to say, I got a guy. Who gets taken care of.
Yeah, that's kind of the range I was thinking.
Yeah.
And I was thinking if you knew a guy, it was still like 120, 130-ish.
Maybe unless she was confused and it was really 180 and not 80, but she thought it was 8 hours he spent. Maybe he told her it was 80 and it was actually 180. Joe D was saying, you know what I'm saying? So maybe, I don't know. And then Bumpy asked where Eastwind was in New Hampshire. He was saying he was actually in the Concord area. And Greg's in the house. Welcome, Greg. He says, hello, friends.
What's up, Greg?
Eastwind said, me too, Bumpy, 6 miles east. So basically, Bumpy and Eastwind are like neighbors now. So there you go. That's how things are connected here on YouTube. Cody says you still get the M43 flavor, but it has more tart and sweet. Eastwind says, I have one stoplight and no post office. No post office. I heard about like a town having one stoplight, but I never thought about not having a post office there. So where do you gotta go to your mail, to the next town over, or how's that work out then? Or you gotta go mail it at the next town over?
Pony Express.
Yeah. Cody says his cousin, and if you guys don't know Cody's cousin, if you haven't been here before, or you watch, Cody's cousin just like does it like it's nobody's business when he's actually having fun drinking. So right now he's taking down an Arnold Palmer Spiked. So
I've seen those.
Cody's cousin at some point may be praying to the porcelain god, so you may want to hang out to hear how that goes for him. But he has no fear. And then Mary says, is that in Canada? I believe she was asking, but then it was like, what was the next thing? So I'm not totally sure what Mary was saying there. But Eastwind said, hey, Mary. So she says, hi, Chris. So know each other there from the streams and everything too. Bumpy says, I've got 9+ stoplights, 5 pizza joints, a police fire station, and a post office. So Bumpy's got it all going on. But do you have a hospital? It's like we're playing Monopoly here. Like we're just going around getting pieces on the board or something like that. So, and since you brought up pizza, question for the people in the comments: pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
We're starting this again.
No.
We're starting this again.
I got to bring it up. Anytime somebody says pizza, we're going to talk pineapple on pizza. Yes or no? Oh, here's something. Would you prefer to have pineapple on your pizza or anchovy? If you had to have one of them, which one would you take?
Pineapple.
Oh, now you want pineapple.
Well, I mean, if it's those two, I mean.
No, it's not looking too bad, right? It's all about setting up the situation.
Exactly.
And
I'll say I've never really had anchovy on a pizza, so I don't know. It could swing the other way. You never know.
Fish on a pizza? Nah, you don't want that, son. You don't want that.
Yeah, but they're basically just
I don't even like
logs of salt, basically.
I don't even like tuna helper. I don't want no.
I like a little tuna helper. Come on.
What about you, Eric? I bet you take pineapple then.
I ain't taking either one, brother.
You gotta take one. You gotta find out
No,
more
no,
info.
I ain't taking either one.
It's a gun to head,
I'm
live.
just saying,
You got to
guys
choose
go
one.
ahead and have the pizza. I will not be having it.
Eric would like, just kill me. Just kill me.
I'll take the chainsaw, please.
Yeah. And Eric said 13 watch. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for everybody just watching. I appreciate it. And Bumpy says, and 7 churches. So 7 churches in this town. And
It's more churches than stoplights, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was funny because like when you came to my house, Todd, like you can't, I don't know if you saw, like there's like you passed like probably maybe 3 or 4 churches on the way here.
Yeah, there was a couple of years thinking, who's going to that church? Because it seemed like it was kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Right. But then like across the street, like why do you have like rival churches right across the street from each other? It's kind of like, you know?
Can't we all just get along?
It's like it's gonna be a West Side Church dance off or something. A West Side prayer off. And then Mary says we have a 3-way stop sign, so we're good. A 3-way? There you go. Well, it's like if you hit a dead end, you have a 3-way. You have 2 this way, 1 this way.
You're killing me, brother. You're killing me.
But Eric's trying to figure where the 4th way is. There is no 4th way, Eric. It's just a 3-way.
Something tells me that's not what Eric was thinking of, though.
No. He's But Mary said, she says, okay, I meant 4-way. So they do have a 4th way there. So it is a 4-way stop sign. Eastwind said, holy crap, Bumpy, you're in the metropolis. So, and Eric said he came from a town of 700 people, 1 4-way stop, but he had a post office. Only 700 people in your town?
Yep.
That's pretty small. How big was your school? Now, when you went to school, was it everybody just from your town? Did you have other towns that have to come in?
No, it's everyone from our town. I graduated with 43 people.
43 people in your class? Wow.
Graduating class. Yep.
I thought I had a small class. We had like 110. Well, we had 110, 100 graduated. But some didn't make it. They didn't stay back for a year. So
I think mine ended up being almost 400.
See, that's too many. I mean, then you're like in graduation, like if you're like that kid with that last W as the last name or Z or somewhere, you're like, why am I even here right now? I can come back. I can go get me a sandwich, you know?
Yeah. But the town we live in now, though, was Shannon grew up here. And I think when she was in school, Eric, I think her graduating class was like in the 40, 50. So I'd say the town we live in now was probably less than 1,000 people, 25 years ago. Yeah. Now it's grown leaps and bounds. Now the single roads into the main little downtown area is too small. Like there's just traffic all over the place. It's just grown so much.
Yeah, it's there's some areas like that, I guess. I mean, here we're building on top of each other, so it's kind of like we got more people here now than we used to have, and it went from kind of you've been here, Todd, but kind of like still kind of like that. A rural type town, so it's like it's not really like country, but it's kind of country, but not as country, but not as city either. So kind of the in between. But we're getting more and more people out here where more and more things are starting to get built. It's kind of like you're getting away from that a little bit. So
yeah, it was a neat place because depending on which way you went in, it was kind of back roads feel and kind of like out in the country. But then if you were to come in the main way where your Kroger and stuff is, it had a little more city feel to it.
Yeah. It's kind of like when I grew up in New Jersey. It was down where we were, southern Jersey, kind of had a feel like that growing up at that point. It was kind of like a mix of between city and country type feel. Eastwind said, have a P.O. box next town over, LMFAO. So you can go over next town to get the mail. Cody says you guys want to witness the madness. LMAO. He's the guy crying there. Yeah. And then Eastwind says Mary is from New Brunswick, Canada. But she had put she didn't say New Brunswick. She had said the other new. I thought something, right? I just scroll back up, but like New Brunswick. Or maybe I was thinking New Brunswick when Bumpy said New Hampshire.
Uh-oh.
Let me see. What matter? Why you say uh-oh?
It froze real quick. I was like, uh-oh, did the stream just die?
And Greg said, no. Obviously, he's saying no to pineapple on pizza. Eastland says, Papagino's. No pineapple. And Greg said, neither, because Greg's going to take the bullet, too, and not have either pizza. But Mary says, but we have a liquor store, gas, and pizza 500 feet away. That's all you really need, isn't it? I mean, liquor store, gas, and pizza. You know,
within walking distance.
Yeah, so you really don't even need gas at that point.
But if you ever need to get away, you got to find a gas station, right? If you don't want to run out of gas, you got to have enough gas, you know. Think
True.
about all those scary movies you grew up watching as a kid, and they run out of gas. Mary doesn't have that problem. She has gas here. If anything ever came there, like Jason or Freddy Krueger, then that she would get in the car, have gas, fill it up, and be gone with pizza and beer. Perfect. Greg said death? Question mark? He said, yeah, death sounds better than either. Mary says pineapple and black olives. So she's down for the pineapple. Eastwind says onions, green peppers, and onions. Onions, green pepper, and mushrooms.
Yep. Yeah, I'm down with that.
It took me a while to accept mushrooms on my pizza, to tell you the truth. I mean, I do it now, but first I was not a big fan of it. Green pepper, that's good because, you know, you can't make a supreme pizza without green pepper and onions. Bumpy says, yes to pineapple. Have you ever had a Big Mac pizza? I have not had a Big Mac pizza, but I am intrigued now. What is
I was going to say, is that an actual thing?
What is on the Big Mac pizza? Do tell.
All beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese. No. Sesame seed bun. Or is that the crest? The crest sesame seed.
He said that it made me think of I was thinking of freaking Coming to America when you were doing that for some reason. Like you were saying Big Mac and I started thinking of Big Mick in my head, you know. So. They are making a sequel to Coming to America coming out. So
nice.
It's supposed to be like Eddie Murphy's kids getting married at that point, so he comes to America again to try to find his wife. So it'll be interesting. We'll see how it holds after all these years, I guess. Eastwood said, Bumpy, I saw that. Where is it from? Bumpy said the 4-way is for the guy filming.
The guy filming. Okay.
Isn't that the key grip guy?
Alrighty then.
Eastwood said, in my town, they have Bible drive-bys. They throw a Bible out the car. Which amazingly, although we have the different churches around, occasionally, like once every few years, you'll get the Jehovah's Witness or whoever they were to come around and want to, you know, can we talk to you about Jesus or that? Which I'm never here. Usually my wife answers the one she usually has to address them, but it's been a while since they've actually come around or whatever. So, but you think about trying to prank them sometimes. Like I've heard about people like they'll answer the door, like, well, like they'll put ketchup or something in their shirt, like blood or something, be holding a butcher knife, or you know, you do something to kind of do that. But I don't know. They're just trying to do their job to spread the word of God. So you know,
that would be kind of funny, though.
It would be. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I'm sure God has a sense of humor, so you know. Bumpy says Big Ben's Pizza makes a really good Big Mac pizza. Pembroke. What is on the Big Mac pizza, Bumpy? Eastland sold. We'll try it. So, and Bumpy says, AKA Sun Cooks and I are talking New Hampshire speak. You know. Bumpy said, in Canada, feet are measured in meters. So it was a 500 meters to the gas station. Either way, she has a gas station right there. Mary says
500 meters is walking distance.
Yeah. Mary says, I'm old school and married to an American from Rhode Island. That's better than American Werewolf from London. So, you know. TQ in the house. Yours says, F you, Joe. Wait, no Joe? F him anyway. So, and then the Drunken One. All right, I'm back. So, Drunken One is back from the competitors video. So, welcome back, Drunken One. I got to tease Drunken One out there. So, let's see here. So,
Our stream
Todd,
is better than his, right?
Oh, we definitely.
Oh, that's why he's back. That's why he's back.
Todd brought up 450 North and the ever changing world of beers they actually do. And it was interesting. I had one of the videos, and it was for the platform Life Itself video. And so Ethan had commented on it, saying it was hard for him to really kind of like them because they're always changing beers, essentially, which is interesting because there are some people, I think, that get upset when they find a beer they like and they go back in the brewery and sell it anymore. So kind of interesting to think how you guys think about that as well. You know, for breweries always changing their beers, does that kind of bother you? Do you kind of just go with it? I mean, how does it affect, you know, your feelings about that brewery? Because 450 North really does the same thing that platform does with them swapping beers out so much. You know, can it be an issue for someone really like that brewery?
Is it that they're releasing a lot to the masses, and then they can? I'm not for 450 North. I know they do this, but 450 North, Todd, don't they have like a set line they do, and that's like how do I want to put this? Like they have a set amount of beers that's ready for purchase at any time.
They do have some that they release a distro, so I can get at the local, my local liquor store or whatnot, and so they do have a line, and they did have a line, a series that they had, which I don't know that they do anymore since they're making all these brewery only releases now. So I don't know if they've done away with them because I haven't seen them for a while that you could pick up at the liquor stores, but now seems like they're more focused on doing their every 3 week 6 to 8 can release every 3 weeks. So, but we are still getting some of the distro stuff.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Does Platform not have like a set distribution for their beers, or?
Platform has a couple that I think are around usually, but like 450 North, they tend to also make a lot of different releases on stuff. So if you were pull up like Platform beer online or like on their Facebook page, you know, just like we see on Instagram a lot of times with 450 North, it's always like, hey, new brewery release or new release coming out. This will be available at the breweries in, you know, Columbus, Cleveland, and Cincinnati. And it's like every couple of weeks is like new stuff always coming out. Braxton kind of does that too, but Braxton still they have their Braxton Brewery, which kind of does their main line of stuff. And then they have the Braxton Labs. So like the one that I sent to you from the Breeders' Cup was like a Braxton Brewery type beer. And then I sent you another one from Braxton, I think that was from like their labs, the cranberry goza. Yeah. So that one is always kind of changing on different things they'll make there. But it's kind of unique on how they did it because you can go to Braxton Brewery and still get some of the favorites that Braxton makes. But when you go to the labs, these aren't going to be here all the time. But when you look at a 450 North or a Platform, they don't have that kind of offshoot. It's just one system. So, you know, last year, for instance, we had their Foster Bananas from Platform, which was really good, but it was only available at the beer fest we were in. They brought it out this year just as a limited release, but it's not like they're going to have it there for regular distro, and a lot of their beers are kind of that way. So people kind of find it, and in a way, it kind of builds interest for the brewery because you're getting something unique. But then if you go there, you can't find what you're looking for, or you find something maybe pale in comparison to them. That might be a turnoff for people as well too. So I don't know. Ethan just seemed to have a hard time really enjoying what they're doing because they're shuffling it so much. And that made me think for a second there.
I can see that. Like, I think most craft beer drinkers always are searching for that new thing. So I don't think it affects them quite as I say them. It doesn't affect that type of a craft beer drinker as much. But like Shannon, for instance, we, always last couple times we went 450, she's like, I want to try them, but she's like, I don't want to try them because what if it's something I really want and then I want to get it again and who knows if they ever come out with it again.
Right.
She's like, so she doesn't understand that point of like, why do I want to go try this or get this beer if this is the only time I'm ever going to get it?
Right.
So I can see both sides of the road there, I guess.
Yeah, she has a valid point for sure.
Yeah. And so in that regard, it becomes an issue in that, you don't want to fall in a beer that you can't really go back and enjoy again. But then you miss an opportunity of finding a beer you will really enjoy.
Right. Yeah. But for most of us anyway, like Zombie Dust or some of the mainstay beers that are out there, how often are we picking those up anyway? We're always looking for the next new thing, And that's kind of not to say the bad part of craft beer, because I don't see that being a bad thing, but as far as a company, that's almost where I can see where like like saying earlier, 450 and those breweries finding their niche and saying, hey, we're just going to stick to this and we're going to make something new every couple of weeks, and we continue to sell out, so they're making their money. So what difference, what do they care in a sense, I guess.
Right.
As long as they're making good stuff that people want to get, and obviously they are, because people are staying in line for hours waiting for it. So,
which I have yet to do. I've still not went anywhere for a beer release.
I haven't been to a beer release either. But speaking of beer release, I'm going to go get another beer to crack open.
I thought you were going to say you can go release something, but okay.
I need to do the same, but I'll wait for you to come.
I'm not going to be that vulgar on the Rod J. BeerVentures Beer Flow Show. Okay?
Not yet. Not yet. Maybe after the next beer.
Maybe.
All right. And so the beer I'm actually drinking. I'm sorry, go ahead. I was going
to say I need to do the same, but I'll wait for him to come back. Oh, you got an Upland there.
I got the Upland, and I forgot I had picked this up before, so I had to grab it again. And it's a nice IPA, so juiced in time.
That's their is that their Side Trail series or whatever they call it?
It doesn't have any Side Trail or anything on it.
Okay, all right.
6.5 ABV.
Because one of those I sent you guys in one of the initial beer mails was from Upland, and it was one of their, what they're calling their, I think it's called Side Trail series or something like that, and it's mostly, as far as I know, they're all IPAs.
You know what? I think it might have been Side Trail when you sent it to us. I just don't see it on here now, though. Maybe they took it off of Side Trail to make it a regular offering.
Well, that's a possibility. You think I would know that since it's, only 80 miles from my house, but
it happens. I think when you sent it to us, it was like a 12-ounce can, and this one here is actually a pint can. So they may have had such success with it, they made it a regular offering for people.
But I did notice maybe they took that one out, because I did notice a couple weeks ago they have one that's a double IPA called Coastbusters, which is really good, and they just started canning it. And I noticed that when it come out this time, it had the Side Trail series on that, so maybe they took that one out and made that a regular. Although Coastbuster wasn't a regular all the time, it was just a seasonal thing. But
right,
so maybe they put that in and took that one out.
Oh, Eric's gonna get his roll on now.
Cinnamon rolling on.
All right, it's my turn. I'll be right back.
I got a Rod J deal on it though.
What'd you get that for?
$3.99.
Oh, that is a good deal. Is that a 22 ounce or 16.9?
I think it might be 16.9. It says dated purpose 10/1/18, so it's not that old.
Now for an imperial like that, I mean, might be a little bit more of a syrupy type feel, but
8.6 ABV.
Pardon the pun, but you can roll with it.
Yeah, I can get more of this. They had a ton of them.
Let's see here. Let me slide back up to the comments.
I just want something a little bit more stronger than the Polish beer.
Eastwind gave salutations to Drunken One, and he said Eastwood. He said Eastwind. He's saying Eastwood. Eastwood Farms. Cheers. Drunken One. Hell yeah. Eastwood. Cheers. Mary is saying dated him when she was 16 for a year and a half. Then reunited 34 years later, married for 7 months. Wow. Well, good for you. That's
nice.
That's a big break in between there. Probably, I guess, maybe because you moved to Canada or so, or something, where you guys wanted to see each other. But that's pretty cool. It's a cool story. Bumpy says Big Mac pizza. It's got the breakdown, fellas. Crust, because you got to have a crust. Thousand Island dressing for the sauce. Cheese, hamburger, onion, pickle, and cold shredded lettuce after it's baked. Mary said, ew, yum. Eastland said, Bumpy, I'm trying that. You shoot. Bumpy said, shoot, as in hunt? No, but I eat the venison my father-in-law gives the wife. So he isn't hunted, but he'll eat it for sure.
Venison.
Eastwood said, Bumpy tried Johnson and Northwood's new brewery. He said, yes, Eastwind video on the double dry hopped IPA. Just had a couple at Johnson's in the flight. So, and
holy
Mary,
crap. I feel like I'm drinking a cinnamon roll. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, Mary's getting a little crazy. She says release the Kraken. So she's getting a little fired up there. Eastwood says cool, great food too. And Puppy says, yeah, Johnson's is my favorite local steakhouse. So Johnson's a pretty notable brewery, it seems there.
Eric, that one's pretty sweet, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be like kind of rich or something too.
Oh, it's a little bit syrupy too.
Yeah.
I think I've just had a small sample of that one and remembered it being like a lot of those with the cherry cordial one that they have. They're really sweet. More of a dessert beer.
Yeah, it tastes exactly like a cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
Exactly like a cinnamon roll.
The thin mint one they had. I mean, they've done a really good job on it being what they say it is. But they're really sweet. You almost have to share that when you're gonna have diabetes.
Diabetes. Wilford Brimley's gonna pop up. Diabetes.
I would hate to see how many calories this beer has. My goodness.
Don't look.
I'm gonna look, but I don't know if it
just
has
enjoy.
I don't know if craft beer lot has any kind of calorie information or anything like that. I know some of them do, but
yeah, you can. I mean, online you can find it in some places. Yeah, some of the breweries will put it out there, but I've actually found a way to estimate it on some of the beers previously. I don't know if I still have that formula or not, but there's a way you can do it and kind of get the percentage of ABV and kind of get in the ballpark of what the calories and carbs would be. But yeah, I threw it away when I stopped looking at it because I was drinking too much. But yeah, I won't be tracking stuff next week when I'm on vacation. Shit, forgot what I was going to say there.
So, Rod, y'all going back to the same place, resort that you was at? Isn't that where y'all went last year?
No, we went to Cancun last year.
Oh, Cancun, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking Dominican.
We went to Dominican Republic a few years ago. This year will be Jamaica, though. So.
Oh, Jamaica, that's right. Yeah.
So it'd be probably a lot of rum. See what the beer scene is like there. Everybody's like Red Stripe. Like everybody says Red. That's all they got is Red Stripe to it. But I did look online and do have some other craft breweries. I don't know if I have the craft beer at the place we're at, but I'll probably do some reviews from the beach side or when I'm down there. But thanks YouTube, I can't live stream because you screw. Speaking of which, let's get to that topic too. So
segue.
Because we got a good amount of people that actually in the chat that also have channels. YouTube constantly takes stuff out on people that have channels less than 1,000 people. 1,000 viewers or subscribers rather, yet they keep getting people that have over 1,000 screwing up shit. So just last week we had the guy who got in trouble who was having little girls send their underwear or whatever he was doing, who was like a big YouTuber. You never see those guys get slapped around the way they slap around all the people that are, you don't have people under 1,000 trying to do stuff like that. I mean, that I'm aware of, that because they're trying to build their channel or trying to do things the right way. But people that are already at that higher level can screw up all they want because they know it's just a slap on the wrist that they're a big enough moneymaker for YouTube. I'm just going to say that's total BS and it sucks. And YouTube, you should screw yourself for that. That's my little rant there.
Money talks and bullshit walks, man.
Yeah. Didn't mean to get off on a tangent, but that popped in my head. So I went ahead and just moved on through it. So if you have Amazon Prime, which I do have, I'm going to probably watch some of that next week. And I don't know if Paul's not in the chat right now, but they actually have a series on Amazon Prime called Poured in Pennsylvania, which is supposed to be a pretty cool craft beer series as well. So if anybody has Amazon Prime, you can check that out. It just started, I think, like this past week or so. And I would like to see more craft beer stuff on TV. That'd be kind of cool. I think the only show that I see usually is on either Food Network or one of the other ones, that Burgers and Brew Barbecue or something.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Where the guy goes to a different place. But they don't really talk about the beer as much.
Not really. They don't.
I'm surprised Guy for is that for I can't even
Guy
pronounce
Fieri.
it. Yeah. Surprised
Guy
Dumpster Dives and that show that he does.
Dumpster Dives.
It might as well be
that would be a good show. Dumpster diving.
Look what I got. I dumpster dive today. Look what I got.
Dives, drive-ins, and dives.
Yes, thank you.
I got a 3-legged coffee table on my dumpster dive.
Eric, you might be onto something there. Don't let that out any further.
I got a mattress.
I
got a mattress with bed bugs in my dumpster dive.
No, actually, that would be a great show. I'm being serious. That would be good.
I got a love seat with these weird stains. Anybody got a black light?
Anyway.
But speaking though, I'm kind of surprised. Like Food Network or somebody never came out with like a homebrew show.
Homebrew show would be pretty cool. I wonder if the niche is big enough for them to say it'd be something sustainable for them to do. Maybe that's part of it.
I would say it's probably.
There's money in it. I think it could be.
Or even just a miniseries.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like a weekly show, just like a miniseries.
Because they have half-hour. They have half-hour shows where you just watch them cook. Why can't you have a half-hour show where you say, "All right, this is how you mash," or "This is how you do different types of styles," or whatever? I don't know.
Dude,
that would be kind of cool.
They got a show where pretty much on the History Channel is forged, and they're making swords. And I would sit there and watch these guys make it. I'm like, why am I watching this show? But then it's so interesting. Like, the old swords that people used to have, and they're cutting up like dead animals or plastic or whatever they're using to show if it can cut and all this stuff. And it's like, why am I even watching? But it's like, it gets you in there. So I think anything, if it's presented in the right light, can actually work.
Yeah.
I mean, Guy has that grocery game show that people watch too. It's right around the store.
I like that show. That's a show I watch. I like that show.
And then they make the meal out of what they get and everything. Yep. So,
my God, what the hell do they do with all that food?
Oh, they feed the audience. The studio audience gets fed on those.
I was like, holy shit, man! There's a lot of food in there.
Yeah,
and perishables and all that.
Yeah.
So, what was the name of the show on Prime? You were saying?
It's called Poured in Pennsylvania.
Poured in Pennsylvania. Okay, I'm about to check it out.
Pennsylvania produced about 3.7 million barrels of beer last year, and it made it the biggest beer producing state in the nation.
Pennsylvania is?
Yeah.
Wow.
How many of those barrels did Paul drink himself?
Yeah. You can see Paul said, you could actually picture Paul there with a flannel shirt and jeans, and his foot propped up on a tree that he just knocked down with an axe, talking about where are these barrels you protest,
Mm-hmm.
Paul would be the Paul Bunyan they're knocking down barrel of beer. Let me see. Oh, that's what I say. So I'm probably one of the few people left in the universe that hasn't seen Avengers yet. Still,
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, I was going to see it last weekend, and so we went to go look at it. I was like, no, still too many people there. I do not want to go with all these people in the theater. I mean, do you guys like going to movies when there's like a ton of people in the theater? I like to be there, kind of spread out, comfortable, not everybody like sitting all next to me and everything.
I don't necessarily go to movies unless it really captures my interest, and then I'll go. But other than that, you won't find me in a movie theater.
Yeah.
Me either too much. I'm with you there, Eric. Unless it's just really something I want to go see on the big screen and the theatrics of, the sound and everything. We used to go all the time when we were younger, but I don't know now. Of course, shit, you can go get you a really good steak dinner for what it costs you to go to the movies anymore.
Yeah.
By the time you get popcorn and drinks and all that, you're $75 in.
You can bring your own drink in, Todd. You don't.
Well, you
buy
can.
this,
Wait a minute, you can't bring it in?
I always can.
Just like carrying beer on a plane, you can do whatever you want, I guess.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I thought that's what they made the flask for, you know. I remember being like, you go to movies like in high school and stuff, and you'd have your girlfriend, and you're like, bring your purse, you know. You put like the Skittles and all that kind of stuff in their purse and stuff, so you had to buy the stuff there. Because let's face it, you're not supposed to price gouge, but nobody price gouges more than a movie theater. I
Oh,
think.
hell yeah.
Well, the sports stadium's price gouging. It's like,
Yeah.
is this Bud different than the Bud out there? No, then why is this one costing me $15 a cup when I can go over there and get a 6-pack for $5? You know.
Yeah, there's no reason to pay $8 for a big tub of popcorn that costs them a nickel to make. You know, it's like.
Speaking of that, Todd, at Comerica Park, a 22-ounce beer costs $10.
That's not actually a bad deal.
I was gonna say that's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
But they get it for $1.29 at the corner store.
Well, right. Yeah.
Wait a minute. What beer are we talking about? Because $1.29 or something like that in corner store. You're like on Milwaukee Ice or something at that level.
Well, hold on, Rod. You get those deals all the time, so.
This is for the other folk.
oh, okay.
The other folks.
For us common folk.
Yeah, I guess when you think about it, because you can get like 2 tall boys of Budweiser. I think right now like 2 for $4 or something. So, yeah. But you know, if you get like it there, like if I go to the movie theater, we get beer at our theater, and you'll get like a 25-ounce beer like that, and it's like $9. You've been gals on so many other things, it makes the beer feel like it's okay. It's like,
yeah, you're like, oh, it ain't bad.
It's not like you're buying a $6 pack of Reese's Pieces. You're not buying a $8 bucket of popcorn. You're buying like just a nice beer to just enjoy. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, the candy especially, you're like, that's the same freaking size candy box that I can get at the Family Dollar for $1, and you're going to charge me $7?
Well, even worse than that, because they give you like I usually would get like Reese's Pieces, and they give you the bag there. And I know that bag is even smaller than the bag I would get in Kroger if I got the bag candy. And I get the bag candy in Kroger for like $3, and it's like $6 or whatever when I go to the theater. It's like,
yeah.
Or it's like a hot dog meal. You get like a hot dog and a drink and like chips or something, and it's like $10. It's like, what hot dog meal ever costs you $10? It's one hot dog. One Nathan's hot dog with a bun. I got to put my own condiments on. So you're not helping me out here at all. Let me see.
And it's not like they're serving it to you. You got to get it and carry it to your own seat. It's not like anybody's waiting on you.
Let's see here.
How much is beer in a movie theater that they can serve you beer in, or alcohol?
You said what? How much? Can you what?
How much is it for a beer at a movie theater that you can that they can serve you alcohol in?
Yeah, so I mean, if you get a beer at our theater, it's like 9 or 10, and it's like they have like Sam, and then they usually have Bubba. They have like Lagunitas IPA, I think, is on tap there too.
Oh, okay.
So you can like a 25-ounce thing, but they actually have a full bar, so you can get a liquor drink at the theater here. So kind of nice. We actually have another theater where they actually will serve you a full meal, so you can go do a date thing, and you'll sit like in the upper level, and they'll have like the waiter and stuff, and they'll bring you the meal, the courses, and all that kind of stuff. So, and I think that meal package is like $70 or something. So, I've had a few friends that have done that before, but it's kind of like, I don't know. It's even the meal in the theater. I don't know, maybe.
We did that years and years ago up in Indianapolis. One weekend we was up there, and this was before all the big theaters are doing it now. It was just kind of course, it was like a I want to say replay of movies, but they were older movies, you know. But you could sit at the table. It was actually like little lounge tables and chairs. It wasn't like a normal theater setting, like the rows of seats or whatever. Yeah. And it was menu, and they had waiters and waitresses come wait on you, and had alcoholic drinks and food, and it was pretty cool. And then they had halfway through the movie, they had an intermission to give everybody time to go take a piss or whatever they needed to do, I guess.
We did at one point have a pretty good hookup at our AMC theater in Newport. It used to be, they changed the rules since then, but it used to be you were allowed to bring in your own food and stuff because we had like restaurants there, as long as it wasn't something being sold at the movie theater or like popcorn. So you could literally, we have like a Dewey's Pizza, and if you were having pizza, you can get a pizza, you could bring it into the theater, and you were allowed to bring the pizza in.
Nice.
I mean, I don't know anybody. I know somebody really bringing a full pizza, but people bringing like stuff from. We used to have like a sandwich shop there. You're bringing sandwiches and all kinds of other stuff. They were doing that. They changed the rules since then because it was like, why wouldn't you do that? You know, they realized it wasn't a good move for them. So
yeah.
Let's see, Alex, the beer master in the house says, "What's up, Rajay BeerVentures? What's happening, Alex?" And Eric Gilbert's in the house says, "Guy eats most of the leftover. Dude's a pot-belly pig." It's not very nice, Gilbert. And the drunken one said hello to Alex, and he said, "What's up, drunken one?" Mary, well, see, that's the problem then, Mary. I mean, you should never pay that much for Budweiser. It says 24 Budweiser costs $45 there.
Woo!
Yeah.
They get gouged in Canada. I don't know why.
Yeah, but they get gouged on the macros, so don't buy the macros. Buy like the craft beer, right? So because their craft beer
$45.
Their craft beer price don't seem that bad compared to ours, but the macros do. And they got like
how many was that for?
24-pack case.
Whew.
And they get different variations of some of the macros. They got like Budweiser this or something, or Coors that we don't have here, but somehow they get a different variation up there. So
I can see why at that price.
Cody said, "Tried playing a game called Risk, but too hard with beer to system LML." Risk is aggressive. I love Risk when I was younger. That's a fun game to play.
So we played that. Not this last time. Went to Tennessee to visit Shannon's family, but the time before, and we got in a big game of Risk that night. It probably lasted. Oh God, I want to say about 6 hours.
Yeah. Well, you guys are going hardcore, yeah.
And it was me and her cousin down to the final two, and I was like, I just want this fucking game to be over with. I was like, I'm done. I'm done.
You're like, take China. I don't even care.
Yeah. Here, please. No, at that point you're all in. You got to win at that point.
Yeah.
I didn't, but
there's a question we never covered before. So, growing up, what was your favorite board game to play? What was the board game you really liked as a kid?
Chutes and Ladders.
Chutes and Ladders? Okay.
That was a good one.
Candyland.
Let's see.
Candyland was a good one.
Candyland was a good one, yeah.
That was probably my favorite one, Candyland.
Yeah. And then I remember like playing Life, which was really kind of a pain in the ass because they would have you get these kids and you keep sticking these little things in your car as you're moving through the board.
My daughter just bought the updated version of Life, and now you have like a debit card that everybody has. And you don't even have money in it anymore. You just swipe the machine or whatever, and it keeps track of your totals.
Oh, that's funny. I hope they did that with Monopoly, because Monopoly was the worst one ever.
That was a pain in the ass.
For people that cheated if they were the banker.
Actually, I think they do have one for Monopoly too now.
Yeah. And Stratego, that was a game I liked as a kid. I loved playing that one too.
I always kind of like Clue as a kid.
Clue was always fun. Clue was a good one, trying to guess who killed, who did what to who.
And Sorry, I always like Sorry also.
Sorry. Trouble. There was Trouble. That was
Trouble.
Yeah. If you were a little kid, I mean, it wasn't really technically a board game, but it was kind of like that. It was like Hungry Hippo.
Yeah, Hungry Hippo. Yeah.
Operation,
yeah. Oh man. What are the other ones that are out there? Technically, I don't know. Connect 4 wasn't really a board game. You just had to put it on the table.
Jenga.
Scrabble was huge.
Scrabble.
Yeah. And you always say, like, as you played that as you got older, and then people knew your rules, you get challenged, and someone would challenge you, and you didn't know if you really spelled the word right. You're like, never mind, I was doing another word. You played the right word.
Yeah, forget it.
Speaking of that,
I'll do dog instead.
Not a good game for people with dyslexia, by the way.
Have you guys like watched like an actual competitive game of Scrabble?
No, like on ESPN or something. Yeah.
There's some words I'm like, all right, is that even a word? Then they look up in the dictionary. Yep, that's a word.
Yeah. You've got good vocabulary. Scrabble was definitely your game.
I always sucked at Scrabble.
I'm trying to think if there's any other one. Was Battleship technically a board game? No, because
No,
you weren't really using the board.
I would say it would qualify as a board game, I would think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Battleship was only honest to a certain point. Like, when you first start playing and they're like, G7, you're like, you hit my battleship, whatever.
You sunk my battleship.
As you became older, like, no, and you like slide it over like another peg.
Yeah. Miss.
And you're like, wait a minute, I called this one and I called this one, and the ship's only so big, it had to be right there. You're like, oh, I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's over. We're done. Let's see. What else?
Yeah, see, there's any comments people put in there for their game. Risk. Mary did say Risk was a cool game to Cody playing Risk. Eastwood said that's crazy, but it's probably 40. No, not for a case of Budweiser. It would be 40. Not in our part of the U.S.
Hell no.
No. I mean,
it's getting up there though. It's about $20 now for a case.
I got a NASCAR track in my state, and people would not be having it for $40.
Highfalutin.
Which reminds me, that race is like coming up like in 2 weeks, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. It's like right after, I think, the Indy or right before the Indy. They do the NASCAR race down here in what's the town here in Kentucky? I don't know if you remember Todd at all. I don't know if you it's off of 71.
Yeah, you got to go through it to go to Cincinnati. It's damn it. I know what it is. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. Sparta,
Kentucky.
Yeah.
This is Sparta. And guess what? For the racetrack, about 500 meters or feet, I don't know who's counting, there's racers. The racers is where the guys go after the race.
Yeah. It's on the opposite side of the road.
That's the opposite side of the road. And there are people there doing laps.
Yes. And a little dancing.
Let me see here. Bumpy says, when I grew up in Maine, there was a theater that served food over price, frozen burrito, or Tony's frozen pizza. Dude, Tony's is lazy. If you're a theater selling Tony's pizza, that's just lazy.
How much was that pizza?
Right? And arrived. Eastman said, "Give me a link for Hangouts, and I'll hook you up with how to stream in Jamaica." Yeah. I don't know what to think about that there. I don't know, do a hangout from Jamaica. That'd be kind of cool. If I did take a laptop, because I have 2 of them, I could actually do a hangout from down there as well.
Would your wife allow that on vacation time?
My wife allow it. Talking about
Wait, she's not around, is she?
Actually, I always usually take my laptop. I'm debating if I want to take it or not this year, though. But usually I take it down because I don't say I get bored, but at a certain point, like by day 3 or 4, you're like, you drank, you party, you're like, what else is going on in the world, And although they're a little bit different than when I was in Mexico, because I hadn't done Spanish in so long, the stations were like, Spanish. So I think in Jamaica, they're more English, might be a little bit more French or something, I don't know, but you're like trying to watch the news on that, and like, I can't understand what the hell's going on right now, To flip the ESPN, you can see the highlights. Can't understand what's being said about the highlights, but you can see them. So I may do that. Although you can do so much with your phone nowadays, just pull it right up.
Yeah.
Let me see here. How much is for Labatt or Molson in Canada? I thought they sent it to the U.S. And Mary says craft beer is more. Like, see, some of the craft beer guys, like Chris and them off the 10th and them, they said like they'll get a bottle of something that'll be like $3 or something, or $3 Canadian or whatever, which isn't that bad, I thought. But Gilbert says too much, Eric. So maybe I was off on that. Cody says our last is 6 minutes. LMAO. We're a bit buzzed. Needless to say, so they played for like 6 minutes. Now, Mary said the game of life. So life, that was always fun. Of course, when you're a kid, like playing life, and you're like getting all this stuff, and it's like life doesn't look really that great. You got to pay for this, pay for that. I think that was to make kids appreciate their parents when they came out with that game. Drunken One said Operation as well. Oh my goodness, Earth was the big one there. Mousetrap. How do you forget Mousetrap?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Mousetrap was the closest game that needed an engineering degree to set it up.
True.
Drunken One said Ora. Payday. Payday was another one.
Payday.
That was all about getting a job and everything.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Bumpy said Monopoly, except the time my mom called me a whiny brat. You must have wanted to be the car, and she wouldn't let you there, Bumpy. Everybody wants to be the car. Bum said, "You sank my battleship, biatch." Which reminds me, so last night I did the live stream where I'm playing Call of Duty. And Eric, what did you want me to say? You're talking about shot somebody?
What was it? Get some sons, wasn't it, or something like that?
No, it wasn't sons. I don't think it was something like get some bitch or something.
Yeah, get some bitches.
And he tried to say it through the computer, so the computer would actually say it.
Yeah, that's funny listening to that computer talk on there.
Yeah.
Well, you put like a 25 and it goes 2-5.
Yeah. Because I was doing your age and it was like 4-6.
Yeah. Or if you do an emoji, it explains the emoji.
Smiley face.
And then Mary says, I haven't seen this one, Crokinole. I'm not sure what that one is. I wonder if that's a Canadian game with that one that we have here too. And Eastwood said, what? So I don't know if it was to that or something else. Eastwood said cribbage. Battleship is a C game. Yeah, it's a C game, but I mean, you played it on the table and stuff, but it was not really a board game, but it kind of felt like it was a board game. Is Twister considered a board game? I don't think Twister's considered a board game, but you played the right time in college. It's a fun game. You get to the right Twister party.
After hours.
And then Gilbert says, oh yeah, Sun's Candyland or Life during rainy nights at the cottage. That sounds like Friday 13th, because like right before a kid gets killed, they're playing a board game at the cottage and it's raining. Eastwind says 1839 for a 30 of Natty Ice. So that's the deal there.
Even I'll say no to Natty Ice.
That's on you.
Let me see here. And 420's back. He says, yo. I'm like, 420, did you leave? Did you disappear for a bit?
420?
Yeah, he actually did leave for a little bit, it looks like.
I was like, how you always say that?
He says, race to Hellcat tonight. Whoop that ass. Oh man. What were you driving against the Hellcat though? That's what I want to know.
What? No, what?
He said he raced the Hellcat tonight and whooped that ass. Hellcats. That's what 420 said he did.
Oh.
The Hellcat is a souped up Dodge engine. So I'm like,
what the hell you got the old? Okay.
What?
I'm just thinking, what has he got that'll kick the Hellcat's rear
That's
end?
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah.
Some twin turbo something or.
So Gilbert says craft beer in Euro is cheap in Ontario, but macro is pricey. Yeah, because I remember the guys saying how some of the craft beer wasn't that bad, but it was a macro, so that's where they were probably talking about for the Ontario guys. Cody says he's having his second M43 strawberry, and 420 says Eric Dart, son. You were
Now,
driving?
is it the Canadian craft beer it's cheaper, or is it like the American craft beer also cheaper?
Do they
Good
get any
question.
American craft beers?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, because they got the CBS that was in the 12-ounce bottles there, right?
Yeah, they get stuff to their LCBO, which still sounds like a wrestling tag team to me. So sometimes you go into the LCBO, like there's be some wrestling theme music behind it. Like, where's that music coming from? The LCBO, son. Darts are dangerous in my hands, Eric says. Speaking of not really darts, because darts is so like 90s now. Has anybody been to any of the axe throwing bars to compete?
Yes.
And you liked it? You enjoyed it?
Oh, it's awesome. So we did a work. It was a work deal last summer. Kind of I don't even know, just to get out of work early on a Friday and did went to the axe throwing. My only complaint was the first time you go, they have a teacher with you the whole time, make sure you're doing it right, or an instructor or whatever. So the first, you rent it for the hour. And I think we had like it was like a office building thing or whatever they wanted to call it. It was just a reason to go drink beer and throw axes. But anyway, so I think there was like 6 or 8 of us that ended up doing it, and you get it for an hour by the hour. And the first 15-20 minutes of it, they're kind of giving you the technique of how to throw it and all that. So if anybody going out there that's got one local, or you guys that go,
Yeah.
I would recommend doing it at least 2 hours the first time you go. Of course, I mean, it's not the cheapest thing in the world to do either, but it is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. I want to go back and do it again.
Yeah, we got 2 places here now that have it. One over in Ohio, one in Kentucky here.
Yeah, we've got one here in Indiana that's like in a coffee. They serve coffee and stuff, but the one in Louisville you can get beer and stuff from, or at. So, and it was the original one in the area. So
Nice.
But it's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. It seems like beer and axe throwing doesn't really seem like it'd be a good combination, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Eric Gilbert's shooting shots at Eric. Says, thanks for the top 3 linebacker in the draft at Eric Lions fan. Go Pack, go.
No, Pack, no.
Oh, he had his Tesla Model SP 100D. So how fast does it take for that to get 0 to 60? It's probably like 2.1 seconds or something.
At fully charged, you hit the gas, and it's like, hang the F on.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like, I don't know if you're watching. What's that show on HBO? Silicon Valley. And they talk about the Teslas and stuff because the one guy wants a Tesla on the show and like how fast it'll do this, how fast it does that. Oh, 420 breaking it down. Said he had to talk to his son about the lean. So teaching him how to try to ride. He said you want to add Oliver about. Oh, you're back to the tight end thing again. The only thing scary at the cottage are the misquotes, Rajay. 420 said pulled a 2.31 second 0 to 60.
Woo!
Yeah. Yeah, I knew I had like some almost warp speed on there. And Eric Gilbert says hacking darts, bro. And the 420 says sweet buddy. And Rod, he asked me, 420 asked about Jay-Z's story of OJ, which I thought you must have left before we talked about it before then. So, yeah, actually, I haven't heard that in a while, but I do like it. I think it hits on some key points in the song. It definitely has some relevance. What are you talking about? Gilbert said, I mean, not Gilbert. Eric says I need to give back to the local drag strip. I haven't been in ages. Were you driving at the drag strip? Or you just going?
No. Just went to as a spectator, and I always liked it, but I just need to get back there and watch a little bit more. We have a local one here, just a couple miles from me, but it's got legal issues and all that. They're fighting.
Gilbert says mosquitoes. Oh, Gilbert said mosquitoes, not misquotes. LOL. I was wondering what that was there. Beerman's in the house. Welcome, Beerman. Beerman is actually out west, and cheers. He says, "Good to be here." And again, another good channel to check out is Beerman. He's got a lot of good stuff out there going on. So if you want to see some crazy, informative but fun and entertaining beer videos, make sure you check his channel out as well. You get those 3 dots by his name too. 420 says no lean. It's coating syrup and Sprite. So you're talking about the no lean being that. I thought you were talking about the lean, like how you drive and you lean into the interior, because that's something to drive. Well, so we had the leans thrown off there, but yeah. Beerman says I like Fish's Mosquito IPA. That's a good one as far as mosquitoes go. I don't know, Vicious, they're probably off the West Coast as well. And Beerman says, "Hey, Rod, I shouted you out on my last video that I just uploaded right now. Cheers." Hey, appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Much respect. And yeah, I'm gonna do some stuff here too to get you some more notice. I think you're finally over 100, so we want to get you some more people to check out your channel as well too. 420 said I pulled 11.22 quarter, so that's quarter mile. That's quarter mile. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. Which I need to do some more of the movie trailer stuff. I want to do that again for some of the stuff in the videos. But I saw like they have the Hobbs and the Jason Statham character coming out as a Fast and Furious offshoot. Have you guys seen that trailer yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So it's The Rock and Jason Statham, but it looks kind of funny, but then it's kind of like I mean, some people think it already jumped the shark before, but this may have really been a jump the shark type thing, But they are doing another Fast and Furious as well, so.
What are they up to, like 9 or something now?
Something like, yeah. I think this next one will be Fast and Furious 9, as a matter of fact, because the last one I think was 8. And I forgot who's joining the cast this time. Let me see here, because it's actually another big star that was joining the new Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing, but I can't remember who it is offhand.
It's Vin Diesel, Rock, Ludacris.
Right.
Who's the other one? Who's the other big star on there?
Well, now they got like Tyrese Gibson.
Yep, Tyrese Gibson. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Was she in the one before? I haven't watched them for a few times, but
yeah,
Charlize Theron, was she in the other ones?
She was in the other one. She came on later, but Kurt Russell's a part of it now. He's in the next one, I think, again. They even had like Helen Mirren in the last one too. But this one, like they're saying Fast and Furious 9 now with Hobbs and Shaw, but I don't think it's going to be called like a Fast and Furious type movie.
I'm not sure I've seen one since Paul Walker died.
John Cena, that's who they just added.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, John Cena's going to be in this one?
Yeah. So they keep adding people into them. I mean, they're fun movies. I mean, you're not going to win an Oscar or anything like that, but they're just fun to sit back in like a popcorn type movie.
Yeah.
Is he going to be the Doctor of Thugonomics?
You can't see me.
Had to put that WWE reference in there, Rod. Come on, going way back.
Well, you said it, but it's like John Cena's music popped in my head there for a second. like his entrance music.
Yeah. Everyone yelling, John Cena sucks.
I have not watched wrestling in so long.
Nothing's changed, man. The more things change, the more they
More they're the same.
Let me see here. Let me go back here. I'm gonna do these comments off. Let's see. He said he put his tests in ludicrous mode for full effect, which ludicrous mode is the only reference I heard to that previously was on Silicon Valley because they talk about how fast you can do it when you put in ludicrous. Says he took out a Lambo Hurricane 2, so he was racing Lambos out there. Eric said, "I think you race for money." He says, "Yes, I do." if you're gonna race for it, why not? Here, but yeah. So, like, Shaw Hobbs and Shaw is not a movie I would see at the theater, but if I'm like laying on the couch on a Saturday or something's on, or like a Netflix type thing, then I would check it out. And apparently, I'm also probably one of the few people that have Game of Thrones as well. Might be in a smaller group there. You watch Game of Thrones, don't you, Todd?
Yeah.
So, did you notice the Starbucks cup the last episode?
Didn't when we was watching it. No.
Okay. I didn't know if you
I mean,
it
was so fast though. Like you see the picture of it. It wasn't like it was just there forever.
Yeah, it's like instant replay on some things, right? But
Right.
you would just think if you're preparing a set for a show, there's somebody that goes around and spot checks everything to make sure you're good to go before they say action or whatever. But
Well, not only on that, but there's editors that watch. When they're.
right.
How do you not see that before it even goes to the final version of it?
Yeah, but we've had other crazy. Wizard of Oz had a guy hanging in the movie that committed suicide, and
Right.
Nobody ever noticed that I was one of the trees in the background, and there was other stuff that popped up on things. So I guess it can happen. Let me see here.
And who knows? Maybe they did it on purpose.
Yeah. I mean, see if people are paying attention.
Maybe Starbucks paid them like, hey, because now look at all the publicity it's getting.
Yeah. Let's see here. It says Beer Man says not since Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. I remember all the rubber big old wrestling toys that were used to get when you were kids and you were wrestling with them in a wrestling match thing. Yeah. The little ring you would have with them wrestling. Meatballs, ludicrous speed. We've gone plaid. He's win. You said you had your wrestling ring, Eric. Beerman said, "Yeah, they're cool." I don't think I've ever had the wrestling man. I don't think I've had any of the wrestlers, but we used to always do wrestling moves on each other. So
yeah, we used to do that too.
Yeah.
Throw some blankets on the floor, and you were getting the full DDT, pile driving.
So yeah, we didn't put the blankets on the floor. We just went out.
In fact, well, that was kind of the ring. You had to have your ring part.
Yeah. In fact,
it wasn't for padding. It was just like one blanket. That was it.
When I was a freshman in college, me and one of my buddies, like we were big into wrestling and stuff, and we were messing around with one of our other friends in their room. Yeah, we went to their dorm, and each dormitory, when you're in college, like each dorm has their own little clique on their floor and stuff. So you're supposed to be a unit or whatever. So we started wrestling with one of our friends in another dorm, and the other guy tried to team up on us. So we were going Road Warrior style on them. We were dropping people. Started DDTs one guy in the middle of the floor. He just kind of laid there. We were just slamming people and stuff. It was hilarious. And
people are probably walking out of their dorms thinking, "What in the hell is going on out here?"
Well, you find out how easy it is to do these wrestling moves that you always watch on TV. We were just doing the wrestling moves that we saw on there. So one of our friends, he was really mad. He's like, "I can't believe you guys did that." Blah blah blah. So he came at me, bro. I DDT'd you right there, son. Good times. Nothing like college hijinks. We used to have a stunt there was a thing that we would do on our floor, and if you caught somebody sleeping or something, you wouldn't do it when they were sleeping, like at night or whatever, but like during the course of the day or something like that and everything, you would catch them like on their bed and you would like jump on top of them and you would yell like pile on, and like all the guys from the floor would come running into the room. And so you'd be like stacked up almost to the ceiling. And when you were that guy on the bottom and you're like pile on, you're trying to fight before the other guys get there and forget about it. Once 2 or 3 there, you just have to sit there and take it.
It's over.
Yeah. That was one of. Did you guys have like any pranks or anything like that? Like that's one of the things. We used to also penny doors. So you would put pennies in doors where people can get out of them. Not a good thing to do during test weeks, by the way. People can't get out and get their exams. And the only way out was they'd have to take their door off the hinges on the inside. They'd have to pull the bolts out and then take the door off, and then they can get out. So yeah, you know.
So how would you do that?
So like when you have the door, it would open inwards.
Right.
You put pennies in the cracks, and the door couldn't swing in. So on the other,
I got you. Okay,
so on the other side, they'd have to pull the hinges out and take the door off.
I was trying to figure out. I was like, how would that work? I see now.
The door had to be able to turn in, and it wouldn't be able to do it with the pennies in the door.
Right.
Yeah. We were rascals, you know. What were we gonna do?
Rascals.
One of our guys got so drunk one night, we actually took him and his mattress in the elevator down to the girls' floor, put him in a room next to one of the other girls sleeping who was also drunk. Her roommate was like, told us she was drunk. They woke up the next morning, like, get out of my room. They're like, get out of my room. And he realizes he's in the wrong room. Puts off the elevator next morning. He's dragging his mattress. I hate you guys. Well, you had to have fun, you know. We did all kinds of stuff like that.
The good old days.
That is the fun time of hijinks back in the day. Let me see here. And then there's also a plaid mode, I guess, with the car, because 420 says he does have that as well. And a potty humor mode, truck ticket mode, auto park mode. I don't know what the potty humor mode would be. Although it's like you do want to ask the question, but then you don't really want the answer. It's like you take the wheel while I go to the bathroom real quick. I don't know what you would need that mode for. And then Beerman says, I remember breakdancing and the electric boogaloo. We used to go into dumpsters and dig out cardboard and then spin on it and do the suicide flip and all the stuff like breakdancing moves. Yeah, get the cardboard out, you know. And there would be battles that would break out back in the day, and when it was really serious, and when you had your windbreaker as well, because you had the windbreaker to give you the extra friction, so you could really make the moves and stuff.
And the jam boxes you had to carry on your shoulder.
Yeah, and the jam box. The box guy never danced up. The box guy was strictly
true. He never did.
For the music,
he was DJing.
Yeah. Like my job was to hit the tape at the right time, get the right beat on. That's all I do. That's my job. And he was always the serious looking dude as well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sunglasses, Kango hat.
Kango, that's what I was gonna say. Did you have the Kango on?
Swing shoe, fat laces, you know. Color Lee jeans. You know, may or may not have an Adidas jacket, just depending on the day of the week. That was the guy right there. And that was your future DJ. It's like if that was a Goodfellas scenes, it'd be like, go get your boombox. I don't do boombox anymore. I DJ now. What did you say to me? I DJ now. I don't do the boombox anymore. Why are you breaking my balls over here? So let's see here. 420 says, next up is Demon Red Eye. I'm gonna own that. Oh, Eric Gilbert says, we only do plaid mode up here. Beerman says, sorry, I switched it up. Plaid mode, LOL. Eric, I looked for plaid mode in Canada and it said Newfie mode. Ah ha ha ha. So they're talking Tesla speak here. 420 said plaid mode makes all my gauges plaid and makes it 50% faster. Ludicrous mode is gloves off shuttle booster level. Foamy Head, now having the Land of Milk and Honey Irish Cream flavored Golden Milk Stout by 903 Brewers. Cheers. Cheers on that. And that sounds pretty good. What do you think about that one, Phony? Beer man. He's got to scroll down so you can see it. He said, "Oh snap, pennies, damn." So talking about we used to penny the doors in the elevator, in the dormitories. That's the other thing. We used to have elevators in our dormitory too. And I don't know why or how I ever got into it, but I used to be at a point where I would like stop the elevators mid floor, and then we would just get off of them. Which was really made no sense at all when you look back on it, but it was one of those fun pranks to do, but people couldn't get anywhere because the elevators had to come get replaced, or get them repaired and stuff, or shut down. But there was somehow when I was in college, I found out how you can go inside the elevator door and stop it midway to crack it open and get out. Again, did I tell you West Virginia was a party school, like the top party school? Wasn't always thinking at those times. You were partying. You were doing all kinds of stuff. So
it wasn't always coherent either.
It wasn't always coherent. It was just one of those things you found out one day. Drunken One said, "Cheers, y'all. See you next one." Thanks for swinging by, Drunken One.
See you, Drunken One.
Eric Gilbert said, "The Razor's Edge is the way to go, sons." To see here, and then let's see, 420 said, "Link me in. I would do my best to." Let me see here. Best American accent. Well, this one we kind of do a show format tonight, so we don't really do any linking. But usually when we do like the regular hangouts, which I won't be doing one for a bit because I'll be in Jamaica, man. So when we do a hangout again, we'll definitely get you on there. Beerman said, "Cheers, Drunken One. Shout you out as well, Buzz." And that Drunken One know you give him some props. Eastwind said, "If you have under 1,000 subs, you can download Streamlabs and go live from mobile." Okay. Yeah, and actually, I think I tried the Streamlabs phone on my iPhone. It didn't work for some reason. I may try it again when I'm actually down there in Jamaica to see. For some reason, I had some issue with it. Eric Gilbert said, "That's the softest Newfie joke I ever heard at 420. So, and then he says, "Potty mode makes fake fart noises on your radio or source randomly." Why would you need that? Why would you need that mode? I don't know why you would let me. We all know for us guys that fart jokes don't usually go out of style, but at a certain point, you're like, "Why are you still doing fart jokes?" You know?
You said it because it never goes out of style.
Never goes out.
I always got to get that laugh.
When in doubt, tell a fart joke. That's how it works out. And then Beerman says, "Yeah, windbreakers, LL. Windbreaker, you had to have the windbreakers, man." And I remember being a kid, one of my buddies who was a real good break dancer, he would do the windmill, if you guys remember the windmill move, of course.
Yeah.
And he would do it, be able to take off his windbreaker and his pants while still doing the windmill. So he was advanced level. So Night All Mary, it was great having you in. Thanks for joining. Hopefully you'll come back again. And Eric Gilbert says, "Kangols, Adidas kicks and fat white laces, baby." Yeah. Shell top Adidas. And then scroll down too far. Beerman said, "Night Mary," and Eastman said, "Good night, Ma," which is short for Mary. And Beerman said, "That sounds really good." Talking about the beer that Tommy had. 420 said, "I wish I had a can Hoser made, LOL," at Eric. And Beerman says, "Oh man, elevators, LOL." Yeah, I mean it was a fun stunt to do if you were there to do it. And it was funny because if you remember like in Living Color, the guys that would do the business card, you know, and they would say, "Where's that card? I don't have a card on me." And one guy, Tommy Davis, would put on and be like, "Bam," like he'd have a card on him. I didn't have it like that. I mean, that was before like in Living Color. I think it was before that, or kind of around that time. But I would always say, be in the elevator, but like, I forgot something. Oh yeah, it must be my little black briefcase. And my buddy would hate when I was saying that because he knows I was about to do something to the elevator, and I would get in front of the elevator, and it would stop. And we like I said, it was one of those things that just happened. I don't know why, but it was funny at the time. You know, if you met him, he would still tell you stories about that. You know. Beer Man says we would have gotten along just fine, Rod. I don't know. Two of us together, we might have been going to jail. I'm just saying. Somebody may have to go to jail that night. we would have had a blast for sure, though. And then 420 said, "Oh, Jamaica, man, right near the beach." He's breaking it down to the Jamaican accent there. Eric Gilbert said, "Got to be a Canadian to be a hoser. Them's the rules."
To be a hoser.
Gilbert, I don't know if Gilbert, if you saw it, but did you see Super Troopers 2? What did you think about that if you did? Because I thought it was okay. It wasn't like it's great. Super Troopers 1 was so funny when it came out. But I thought they did have some funny Canadian jokes in there as well, too. But curious what your thought was. Foamy Head says he does like the beer. It's just a long-ass name for a beer, which I would definitely agree to that. That's a lot to say out there on that beer that you're having. Eastman says, you have to adjust the... Oh, man, this thing does not like me when I scroll. Go. Scroll back up. Have to adjust the settings on Stream Live. Okay. On the actual app. Not the app, but the actual computer. I think you're saying Eastwind. So, because I actually don't use that one. I actually use, when I go OBS, I actually use the Stream Elements now versus the Streamlabs. So, I may check into that one. I got time before I got to go to Jamaica. Extra day in there right now. So, Beerman says, Silver, not Canadian. We're not a hose, or what are we, homies? 420 says, hey, Elon Musk is a South African like me. He's batshit insane. So I had to scroll down there. Beerman said, I meant, so if we are not Canadian, not a hoser, what are we, a homie? And then Eric said, up is pretty much Canada, Gilbert. So I called them hosers. It is up from where you're at. It's pretty much, yeah, straight up from us, north. And then Beerman lost LOL funny. And 420 says he wants hoser mode. And how long has been, Cody, here's a question. How long has everyone been on YouTube for here? That's a good question for people. So I actually started this channel back in March of 2015. So just over 4 years for me.
I think mine was 13, but it didn't really start until 16.
Where you started putting stuff on there?
Yeah.
I can't really answer that one, so.
Todd's like, no comment.
Well, I mean, I've been on Tom Beer Whisperer's channel a couple times doing Hangout. And when we used to do Hangouts before, so probably, I don't know, at least 3 years, I guess, or...
Yeah, because the first time we met, you were on Tom's channel, right?
Yeah. So 3 or 4 years, maybe. I don't know. Hell, I might have been doing it longer than you guys, and I don't even have a channel.
That's true.
You might have been. You might have been.
You might be Beer Patrol Jr. You might be Joe's son. I mean, yeah, because Joe was out there. So, but yeah, back then when I met, it was like, because you were doing it with Tom, and like John Sharon was on there as well at that point.
Yeah.
And 420 says 178,000 US car. I want hoser mode. So
hoser mode.
And Beerman says, hell yeah, JL, laughing at my joke there. So and then Gilbert says, no hoser for you guys. I get a feeling he said it that way, so that's why I said it. 420 says been YouTube since 2014. So yeah, that's right. Because I forgot. Yeah, make sure like 420. I think 420 has this channel out there as well. So I think I forgot to mention him earlier because he disappeared for a bit. But if you guys haven't checked out 420's channel, you can hit those dots by his name also and check him out. And for some reason, I never hit subscribe with him. I did hit subscribe now, so I became number 26. I don't know why I didn't get it before 420. I apologize. And then Cody Stark says to Eric Lyons fan, I'm loving Malt Liquor Monday, LAMO, but for real, it's awesome.
For real,
at least someone. He said at least someone likes it. Well, I think I bet Cody's cousin likes it too. So
just a hunch.
Just a hunch.
He says he should send you cream ale. It's clocking in at 6.2 ABV. Cody, let me tell you something. If you send Eric any beer, he'll be okay with it. Don't even worry about it.
Hell yeah.
And the beer man says he's been on YouTube for about a year. And 420 says, my son said your beer room is epic, Rob. Well, I definitely appreciate it. Tell him I said thank you there. Well, he's probably watching it with you. But yeah, took a while. If you go back to my first video, none of this stuff was really happening behind me. And then over the period of time, as I started to shape things up, this is why I don't get like a green screen, because people like the background behind me usually. So if I didn't have all that, I probably would have got a green screen by now. So I think it's kind of nice. It makes it a little more authentic there too. So Gilbert says, never saw that movie, Super Troopers 2 yet, but did hear there was a Halifax explosion joke that pissed people off. I think there was an explosion joke in there, but I don't know. I didn't know much about Halifax. So for me, I wouldn't have caught it. Probably a lot of Americans wouldn't have. But yeah, you have to check. If you check it out, let me know what you think of it. And it's on HBO now. I watched it like for the first time a couple of weeks ago. Beer Man said, before I started beer reviews, I did cannabis reviews, but stopped that just because I don't know why. They're still up there. You can look me up on Green Beer Farmer. I'm sorry, Green Bear Farmer with PH. Green Bear Farmer. Well, probably at that point, it might have not been fully legal. It might have been good to stop. But now, but now since everything's approved out of Washington, where you're at, although federally it's still not. It's such a stupid thing anyway. It's kind of like, how much money is being wasted trying to fight this fake report that's not doing anything. But I've already had one rant tonight. I'm not going to go on another one. So, but 420 says cannabis. I think you may have gained a new subscriber with 420, Beer Man. He says, Cody said, I love what you guys are doing on here. Thanks, Cody. You guys make it all fun and make it great for us to do something like this when we all get together. Beer Man says, hey, Cody. 420 says, I have concerts, bikes, lots of randomness. I'm planning that April 20 live for a show. Oh, yeah. I can only imagine. Next year, April 20, 420, on the 20th, 20. And then if you're doing it at 420, either AM or PM, but probably PM, because probably AM, you're probably sleeping it off. That would probably be an epic show. I'm sure
put it on your calendar.
That would be a ton of views. You got to do it at 420 when you do it on the 20th, though. Beerman said it was always legal. I just didn't have as much passion as I have with beer. Well, it was legal after a point, right? Because there was a time when it wasn't, and then it became when they passed it out for the state. But yeah, but I'm glad you got the passion with the beer, because that's how I discovered you with the beer stuff. So, but I'll check out the other stuff probably as well too. But I'm on my other Brute IPA right now that I'm drinking. You know, it's like I said, start vacation today. Today's my last day, but then guess what I did? I set up to go get an oil change in the morning tomorrow. Like,
that's on you.
It's like, what an idiot! What an idiot! Yeah. So
you can take a nap. You can take a nap.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not till like I got to be there at 9, so it's not like I'll just get up at like 8 or whatever. It's like 25 minutes for me. So
gotcha.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, we got a lease, and usually I would just go to one of the, Valvoline quick places to change it, but the dealership with the lease, they pay for all the oil changes to take place. So I just drive it over there, but then it's like almost a pain in the butt to get in there sometimes. 420 says, got that kosher tangy right now. Super yummy and chill. Like 420, like he said, the way he types it is like, I got that kosher, like he's outside on the street on the corner. I got that kosher tangerine 420 right now. What y'all want? Y'all need this? I got it. Like, this is 420 out there. And he said, Colorado is now ready to legalize shrooms too. Oh man, you guys are going to be having some drives out to the Joshua Tree out there.
I saw that too. I saw we're getting ready to pass that also.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like, though, things that are like grown that you can do that are grown naturally. Like, I consider a drug kind of more things you do chemistry to. You have to put them in a lab and do different things with. Obviously, things that can alter your mind or are natural can go under it kind of in a way, but it's almost like you don't have to do anything with it. It's kind of like it was put here on the earth for whatever reason. It was on the earth, so why
Right.
not enjoy it? It's kind of like we know what was in the peace pipes of the Native Americans, and they weren't going out acting crazy, right? So it's been around forever. Other countries had it forever, so it's just kind of like it's not like people are doing crack and stuff like meth, where you can't even buy. Like I had to go get Claritin D refill, and it's like you got to fill out, give me your ID. They got to check your ID. You got to sign on some paper, and it's like I'm basically.
You feel like a criminal going and do that.
Right. It's like it's an over-the-counter drug, but it's behind the counter, and you're treating me like I need a prescription, but I don't need a prescription. Why don't you just put it back to the doctors and I'll just have a doctor order it? It's a lot easier because the doctor orders, I just show up and sign.
Exactly.
I was like, oh, and the lady was just laughing at me, and I was explaining it to her. It's like it's over the counter, but it's under the counter. It's like this is stupid. It's stupid. Just because you got some people out here running around like Dave Chappelle looking for a hit. You got us all penalized for it.
I've mentioned that going in there buying before is like I feel so like awful trying to buy this, like trying to be clean about it. She's like, "Oh, trust me, we can tell who's doing it who's using it for the right reasons and who's not." I'm like, I bet you can, but doesn't make it feel any better.
Yeah. At that point, you should have sprinted from the desk up an aisle and then came back around again. Like, well, I'm glad you feel that way. you'd have freaked her out. Like, I don't know if I can give you this right now.
start scratching and twitching a little bit. Honestly, just for allergies.
Start talking to an imaginary friend. Shut up! I know what I'm doing. Shut up.
They'll be like, sorry, can't sell that to you.
I mean, there's sometimes you just want to mess around and do stuff, although you shouldn't, of course. Like, I got to fly Saturday, but at some point in me, I would like to just throw a bomb joke out there to scare people that are like just to mess with some of the what's the security people that check your stuff now?
TSA.
TSA, yeah. So, or say like, you know what? I don't even put them in my shoes anymore. I put them in the suitcase. Like they make you take your shoes off like you're a shoe bomber. So it's like it's so stupid. Like who's going to still do that? It's like the
Ben Stiller, bomb, 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 bomb.
It's like the banana in a tailpipe. Like what was the Eddie Murphy movie? It was Beverly Hills Cop. It's like I'm not going to fall for the banana in a tailpipe again. You did it the one time. I'm not going to do the same way, but it's hilarious the stuff they make you do, and it's kind of like a little too much in my mind. Let's see here. 420 said his boy Brad kicked opiate addiction with shrooms for real. Oh wow! And he says shrooms open up a new universe in his opinion. Beer Man said that. Kind of hitting the refresh button. 420 says I have HK91, Glock 6 Sour, etc. But I do not ever, and he put not ever in capitals, mix. LSD, on the other hand, is like being too drunk on liquor. Yeah. I never had that stuff. But I think of the guy that was out in California back in the 60s, Timothy, that came up with the LSD thing. It seems like people get to a different level. It's almost like, sometimes when you think about some of the drug type stuff, and not just maybe drug, maybe alcohol, maybe all this stuff, I don't know. It's kind of a tragic comedy type situation that some of the best things we've had in artistic expression have almost come out of people like delving down these rabbit holes, messing around with stuff. Like, if it wasn't for some of the stuff that maybe Jimi Hendrix did or Janis Joplin did, we would have never got some of the stuff we got out of them. Wouldn't have been for some of these other things that were done. Like the artists like Mary Shelley, when she wrote Frankenstein, they were high on lithium when she wrote that. It's just kind of weird. Like you wonder if sometimes some of these things do open up other doors that maybe people couldn't have gotten to. But not to say you should do drugs or anything along those lines, just kind of a curiosity that's out there. 420 said LSD is too much for him. Beer Man said him too. Hell no. Beer Man said 6-pack a night and then my one review beer. And East went forward and said Timothy Leary. Yeah, I can't remember his last name. Timothy Leary was when I did came up with LSD. And 420 says F, white drugs, tick, meth, PCP, none of that. As my black brothers would say, that's that old bullshit. But see, that stuff you actually make in a lab, though, right? So that stuff you're actually making in a lab versus being kind of a natural type substance. So yeah, you should never, for sure. There, Beer Man is kind of like being too dizzy, and it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop, and it doesn't stop. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. You want it to stop. It just keeps going, and it's terrible. If that alone doesn't tell you why you should be watching Beer Man's videos, I don't know what else to tell you people. You should be watching them because he has all kinds of stuff like that. So it's very good point there. Very, very interesting, fun, and entertaining way to get to that point. So very nice. But well, I think anything else you guys were thinking of, or
Nope.
because I know you guys got to get up early for work and everything tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're off for like the 24th Friday in a row or something?
Yeah, I want to say like the Sandlot forever. No, I don't go back to work. I didn't go back to the 21st, so I got some time. Like EPMDA. I got to chill. Yeah, that's gonna be some nice time off for sure. So, but here's the thing: I know when I get back that Tuesday at work, my emails are gonna be like tons of emails.
Yep.
There's gonna be stuff in there like I'm gonna say to myself, "You couldn't have figured that out yourself. Like you'd wait for me to come back to hand." It was like,
right.
Kind of some stuff. So on one hand, it's like one hand it's good to be away. On the other hand, you're gonna be walking back into stuff when you get back. But c'est la vie, as they say in France, But I think they say it when they're happy, not like when they know it's gonna be shit on the other side.
I have the same thing when I take off work and I come back and I'm like, you can figure this out on your own?
Yeah. It's kind of like trading places. Like you would just grab them and be like, you would have strangled her.
Yeah. Or smack them. Bang!
Yeah. Oh, yeah, if you could. Back in the day in the workplace, things like that happened, I think. But not now. 420 says, if it grows on the earth and you're smart enough to know what's up, then fine. But no driving, no firearms, no. Right, and then Beerman says right on 420, and then Eric Gilbert says, rub it in, son. Yeah. So that's the one. I mean, I wasn't going to say anything, but like, people got to get this gun shit under control. I mean, there's just too much gun stuff happening. I'm not going to get on the soapbox or anything like that. But what we saw in Colorado this week, I don't know if Americans will ever wake up to it. I just don't know. So I can't imagine being a parent and you're at a point now where you have to literally think in your head. You have no idea what maybe happened somewhere else. Not to get everybody on the sad note, but you're sending your kid to a school that something may happen each day. And you're doing it like 200 days in a year.
Yeah. Or
you're going to a church that something may happen on one of those. So it's almost like you got to make sure you're protected. You're looking at, but it's almost like you got to go into life now with the guarded sense, because we're not really trying to fix it. We're trying to make people adjust to living with it, which sucks.
It's a crazy world.
Yeah. So I'm not going to get onto a big soapbox there, but
it's almost kind of going back to like the Wild West days.
It is really when you think about it.
22-cent 22 bullet. I mean, take care of the problem. Pop, done.
Yeah.
I know that's a little morbid when I say that, but I think if you did that for a couple of months, people might be happy. Like, do I really want to do that? And then end up in the ground in a couple of days.
You're right there, Eric. Though it's true. Like the consequences aren't really enough. I don't think for a lot of the crimes, for sure.
No. Well, the way the system is, it's the way things are being done and how sentences are being passed out nowadays. I mean, even just what I had in Colorado. One of the things that disturbed my Colorado, right? So they're making a big thing now because it was a female shooter, which I guess they're trying to think the psyche of a girl won't be the same as a boy, and so it's a surprise. But it's like in court, they have her with her head down and all that kind of stuff, so you can't see her. And like, no, make her sit up straight. Make people see who she is. Make her handle this. And they're like kind of rubbing her back, trying to figure out what. And it's like, no, she needs to sit up there as the person she was for what she
Take
did.
it.
And take account for responsibility for that action.
That's right. That's right.
I was like, you guys are coddling her still, when she was a killer. And it's kind of like you can't have it both ways like this. You're sending mixed messages out there. So again, it's just, each day. I mean, it's the only thing you do each day. You send someone out, tell your loved one you love them. Because the way the world is right now is kind of crazy out there. Again, I didn't want to get all morbid or anything like that, but it's just, it's kind of crazy right now.
What I want to know is what mindset are people in when they go, I think it's a good idea for me to shoot up a school or shoot up a mall, or I'm just not in that mindset.
In the way with social media is, it's just somebody trying to make a quick name for themselves sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure most of the time it's a deeper psyche than that, but sometimes it could just be as simple as that. Like,
Well, one thing we're finding out about social media is that not everybody is smart as people give them credit for, right?
Exactly.
So you got people getting out of cars when a car's moving, trying to dance next to the door. You got them doing stupid other type stunts, and it's kind of like, when they had the movie with Sandra Bullock, the blind one. She wasn't blind; she was blindfolded. I forgot the name of the movie is now.
Yeah.
Then you have people trying to imitate and actually drive home blindfold, just using the GPS or painting the inside or windows. It's like, how stupid have we become in society that people think they can actually do these type of things?
Right. It's like, where's common sense at?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it goes back to, in a way, I kind of feel like there might be a part of it that we went back in the 90s and we grew up under a different decade, as we look at how we did versus some of the ones now, where everything's been so much softened that they don't know boundaries. Maybe they don't understand the boundaries that might be out there. They don't understand the consequences of their actions and things, because in a lot of ways it was made easier for a lot of the younger generations versus when we grew up. It's like when there was a hot stove, we touched the hot stove. Like, they didn't stop us from touching it. I mean, not saying everybody didn't stop from touching a hot stove, but there was a point where it's like you had to learn yourself that stove was hot, or whatever that situation was. You had to learn yourself, and then had to build that into how you did your critical thinking as you became older in life. Nowadays, everybody's doing it for these kids.
Yeah.
Even like when we hire people, like sometimes a person to get a job, it's unheard to hear a parent call to find out why the kid didn't get the job. It's like, well, your kid didn't meet this thing. Well, I think you should give it to him anyway. Well, excuse me, you're not interviewing for this job. This was your kid interviewing for this job. Or if a kid gets a C in class, the parent's like, well, every kid doesn't get a trophy. They want to give every kid a trophy nowadays, but then this is the effect of every kid getting a trophy on the end as well, too, because everybody thinks they're supposed to win. It doesn't work that way in life. And then when some kids realize they can't win and everything, maybe they get frustrated. Maybe they think the world's against them, and maybe they get into these type of modes. I don't know. There's something going on that leads them into these situations, in my opinion. So that's just me, though. And then let me go back here to the comments, because let me scroll back up here. 420 say, yep, love my beer brothers here. I know the limits and the rules. You can trust me. Beerman says, we love you, 420. Yes, starting to get ridiculous, like absolutely stupidly ridiculous. He says, me and my wife can't have kids, but I don't know if I want anymore. But how I would home study for sure. It's ridiculous. The public school system and the guns and everything going on is crazy. Which I said to myself, and we chose not to have kids. But if we did have kids, and I had kids right now at that age, I would probably consider homeschooling them. Which for the longest time I was against, because I think it hurts your social skills. But in some of the stuff you're seeing, you just don't know anymore nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So I can definitely see that point of it. But then Beerman says, I honestly think that teachers should be armed the way it's been going lately. Well, the problem you have there is the teachers being armed, teachers being trained. If teachers are shooting in a reaction like that, there's no idea that they may end up shooting some of the kids or shoot someone else, or the police don't know who the shooter is and the police end up shooting them. And we've already had some schools where they've started to allow that. And we already had one situation where a teacher accidentally discharged a weapon and shot a kid in class. So having a teacher bring that weapon in isn't always the best thing either. Although there's some type of alternative that has to be found for sure. And he says, but then again, it could be the teacher that's the shooter, which he just said in his next comment. We don't know that. The way it's been going, we don't know who the freaking hell the shooter is anymore. Right. You don't know. And then you also, like, there was pieces written about interactions. If people don't have interactions with other kids, like say of different groups, different nationalities that they're not accustomed to, for instance, they may be responding in a way that the teacher may feel threatened or something when they're not. They're just expressing themselves, and then the kid gets shot for no reason too. So all that has to go into play. 420 says, I live in a state where we will fire back. We will not allow some turd to hurt others. I will fire back and stop the threat. Gun control means three things: realize responsibility. It can, but consider this. When Columbine happened the first time, there were actually armed security on campus that couldn't get to the shooter who killed the kids he killed. The situation we just had in Florida, the police were told to stand down and not go in with guns. So again, just because having the guns doesn't mean they can always get to them and save the situation also. Bierman says there's no common sense. There's no more common sense. It's totally gone. Definitely agree 100% there. Common sense has kind of went out the window with a lot of stuff, it seems. 420 says, my son knows how to handle a weapon, and he goes to private school where the teachers are armed. So, he's in a situation there where hopefully nothing ever, happens along those lines. Pyramid says, sweet 420, good. And I think you do have to look at a point where I think if you can, you should teach kids to prepare themselves because, again, it's something where it's a society, instead of us maybe fully addressing the problem, we're fully addressing how to live with it. It's kind of like now. Remember, like, when we grew up back in the day, when the HIV epidemic broke out, right? And everybody, not everybody, but people were getting AIDS and all that kind of stuff. People were looking for a cure. At a certain point, they figured out some type of medication that actually allows people to live now with HIV. You rarely hear them talking about finding a cure now. It's more making a medicine to have people adjust to living with it, which is kind of interesting. So it's almost like the same thing with the guns. People are being taught more to live with it than maybe how to actually stop it. And Eastwood said they're not held accountable for their actions now. I agree, they're not, and that's a big issue. 420 says, being South African, we know what to do. And Beerman says, you bet 420. And then Beerman says, you have a point to me. And then and Eric said, we went and got some Budweiser. Cody brought it back to the beer. So thank you.
Bring it back.
But he was directing it to specifically Eric because he knows Eric's our big adjunct water guy on the panel. So he went and got some Budweiser, thumbs up. And Beerman said I didn't know that about Columbine, right? Yeah, it's one of those things, one of those little things in the misnomer that they did have actually armed security there, but they couldn't get to them in time, I guess, with it. Or the other thing is when you look at some of these armed security officers or even the police, like in the Florida situation, unless they call in some of the tactical units, they all don't have the firepower to match up. If somebody's coming in with the AR-15 and you've got like just your 6 shooter or you got like your 9mm, you don't have the firepower sometimes to keep up with that AR-15. And Lord forbid if they actually have like some type of body armor or something along those lines, and you don't, I mean, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage as well. So all that stuff has to be accounted for too. Let me see here. 420 says, got those armed assets in the school now. No fear. Get in there and stop the threat to your job. Yeah, some of the police did get criticized in Florida for not going in, but then we found out they were told not to go in as well. Beerman says, don't own a gun, and I'm kind of scared of them, to be honest, but I do have the inner spine of a keg, about 3 or 4 of them sitting by my doorway. So if, and actually, I have no problem with guns. I mean, I've shot guns before. I would like shooting guns and stuff like that. That doesn't bother me. My wife doesn't like guns at all, but I have no problem with the guns issue. I just want more responsible guns, done. And you look at it, 98% of gun owners are responsible and they handle guns the proper way. So again, it's not about penalizing all the people out there either. It's just how to address these situations. The 420 Columbine was 2 shooters and they were not fired on. Jeffco did not respond right. Yeah, they were fired on. It was just the 2, right? You're correct. And that's the thing, that they had people there, but they couldn't get to them, or I don't know. I'm not going to say they were told not to address them, but whatever reason they didn't make it in there. Eric told Cody, "Be safe." You feel like Cody's going to be hurting himself tonight, Eric?
Well, or bowing down to the porcelain god.
I worry more about his cousin than Cody. So
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I think Cody has he's a button to hit when he needs to slow down. Beerman said those are normally two to get hit by them would really hurt. I studied jujitsu and kenpo karate for a while, but to be honest, if I was to buy a slingshot, that might work. LOL. 420 Glock 20 with 20 Glock 20 with one arm training school asset will stop the threat. Period. I mean, it's all right now. I guess you could say kind of theory. I mean, it's a matter of doing that again. If a Glock 20 might be one that you can have, but again, it's a matter of that situation and stuff too. I think a lot of times people look at it and think, if it's a gun versus a gun and they're in the same field, that's one thing. But sometimes, look at the guy that's got arrested in L.A. or they're searching. The guy had 1,000 guns in his house. I mean, 1,000 different guns. They found he was selling some of that stuff, I guess, but he may have been legally able to have them because of his permit. And I don't know if he was selling it for any nefarious reason, but you just don't know. And then let's see here. Responsibility is everything, is what Beerman says, which I definitely agree. He said, "Bye, Cody Knight." I know Cody I don't think Cody left yet, but I think Eric was saying Cody be safe because of the beer. He came up with a 24 pack of Bud. So, and 420 said, "My weapons will never ever be used in deranged offensive purposes. They are for me to protect my home and family." Right. And 420, you're probably doing the right way. You probably keep them secure, probably locked up, and everything that they're supposed to. And and that's, like I said, 98% of that population, which does make a difference. Beerman said armed security guard sounds good. Seems like all they have is a stick or a taser. Yeah, I mean, I guess some schools, depending what school you're at, I know some of them do have like security officers, or they have like what they call school resource officers now that are like off-duty police or something, or former police and stuff like that. And they're armed and everything. But you see situations where sometimes those officers overreact to different things, not shooting anybody, but just the way they handle some stuff. So you have to wonder what would happen if there was a shooting in the school. But 420 says the kids don't know who is armed, but I assure you, my South African boy will know what to do. Yeah, well, that's the best you can do is to prepare how to go through. And even at my job, we had, I don't know if you guys remember, I know I got like Facebook messages when it happened, but in Cincinnati last year, we had a shooting at the Fifth Third Plaza, a mass shooting. And that was actually a block from my office. I was actually out of town in Chicago when it happened. People were messaging me like, "Are you all right? What's going on?" Blah, blah. I was like, "I'm actually in Chicago. I just got done drinking some beer. What's happening?" And it just happened. It was a mass shooting. So they brought in a firm to our office to teach us what to do in case of a protocol type situation. They brought in these guys that kind of went through different stuff, and they installed these lights in our office that if somebody were to break in, you basically pull a lever like a fire alarm, and it sounds the police and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like, it's there to try to help in case something were to happen, but it's almost like, again, you're preparing to actually live with it rather than try to address it or fix it. But yeah, so we had to go through some type of training for all that kind of stuff. But, one of the key points brought up is to kind of know in your head what to do if something were to happen. Always how you go into place, how you look at exits. I mean, when I go to movies now, I survey everybody that comes into the movie theater a lot more than I used to, right? I think we all kind of do. I think it's like when we fly, we probably survey the plane more than we used to. Not trying to pick out anybody in particular, but we're making sure everything looks good, right? So
keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah, you gotta be aware of your surroundings.
Right.
It's like a couple weeks ago. We was at a Walmart, my daughter and I, and we was standing in line checking out, and all of a sudden, all these people just started kind of going like, we heard some lady screaming, almost like, stop him, or something. Apparently, that some guy stole this lady's purse, and she was just squalling. And I thought maybe something happened to her kid or something. 'Cause she was, going crazy. And so I was telling my daughter, I was like, you got to know your surroundings all the time. It's like you got to pay attention. You have to be aware of everybody coming up or walking around you. So you just got to be alert of all times. So just know your surrounding and be aware of, vigilant, of everybody coming and going. It's like you just never know when when that time might approach you, you know.
Yeah.
And
I
she's
mean, well,
14, so it's like, you know, she's gonna be driving soon and going out on her own a lot, and it's like, you know, you just gotta be aware of your surroundings.
yeah. And I think back to, even though we didn't have it as much happening that we see like nowadays, we didn't really have a lot of it happen that we're seeing today. But it was still like when I grew up in New Jersey, where I grew up in New Jersey, it was like 20 minutes across the river from Philly. And we would go out to places and we would go to bars or clubs or, you know, these type of parties and stuff when in high school and everything. We would sneak into some of the bars, but like when we would go to high school parties and they would be at places, it was more of, I guess you could say, like kind of the gang influence back then. So it was more like gang fights and all that kind of stuff, or something could happen. But you always went into it like when you went to a party, you went in and you always noticed where all the entrances and exits were, and you
Yeah.
knew which ones would actually work and some don't. Because some places they don't work, they don't use those doors at all, so they're still locked and stuff. But you would go through and you would watch people that would come in from different crowds and something didn't seem right. It's kind of like when he's on a movie reference like Beverly Hills Cop, when they go to the strip club and Axel Foley notices a guy in a leather jacket when it's like 80 degrees outside in LA. Like, why would you
Right.
need a leather jacket on, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So at a young age, we learned to kind of look at stuff and pick out stuff. But it was because, you know, when I grew up in Jersey, it was there were parts we would go to. Our parents didn't want us to go there, but we'd go to rough parts because honestly, when you're a kid, rough parts had all the best fun. So you were going to them anyway. We used to hear about, like, I don't know if you guys ever heard about like Camden, but Camden used to be the biggest crime city, they said, in the U.S. And I remember in high school, we would go there for Friday nights to the park, and we would call them the Friday night fights because we would go up
Mm-hmm.
there and people would sit there and we would drink beer. You like this, Eric? We were drinking some 40s of malt liquor, and
Yeah.
we would wait for someone to show up from one of the rival cities that didn't fit in. And when they would get there, a fight would break out, and if the guy would get jumped or attacked. I mean, it was just one of those things that you grew up watching as a kid, and then you left before the police stuff. So, but it was kind of like you learned how to pick out surroundings and how to notice different things. So it's kind of like, you know, you see people, you hear stories about things happening to some people, and it's like, why would you do that? Like, we went to New Orleans before. They're like, don't go down these alleys like at 1 a.m. at night or whatever, because you might get robbed or mugged, all that kind of stuff. In my mind, I'm like, who would ever want to do that? But some people in society didn't know not to do that. You know, they're kind of just thinking they'll take a shortcut through something. So you always got to know your surroundings. You always got to know what's happening and get basically the lay of the land and stuff to try to avoid that stuff. Let me see here. Man, comments are still coming in.
Still got 9 watchers.
Yeah, let me go. I gotta scroll back up. I thought. It says, Cody, you gave Cody the lecture. You better not have drove, or else I'm coming with a baseball bat. So that's good. 420 says he served in SANDF, so his son knows what to do. Yeah, and I can tell that you definitely have trained your son on a lot of good things to make sure he's prepared. And great move. I think all parents should actually be training their kids for that kind of stuff as well. I mean, at this point, you know, way things are, if I did have a kid, one thing I would probably have him more involved in was a Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, whatever, just to learn different skill sets and stuff in case things were to happen as well. You know, when I was a Boy Scout, even though I was only there for like a short period of time, like we went camping and we'd be in the woods and we learned how to like forage for ourselves or make survival type stuff and all. You just don't even know when you're going to need those type of skills, and the more you can teach a kid, the stronger they'll be. Beer Man said that's a crazy Walmart story. Oh my god, yeah, Walmart's always got like crazy shit happening. 420 says South African National Defense Force that he was a part of, and he says the concealed permit is for defensive use only. I promise you, all my brothers, that I will respond. And he was saying I was over in Africa, and then Beer Man is Mickey's and Old E. He's talking about when I was talking about drinking 40s back in the day. Back in the day, well, we did drink Mickey's once in a while, like the Mickey's Big Mouth. But we used to drink the Red Bull from Schlitz, the Blue Bull from Schlitz. There was one that Colt 45 used to have called Cokie 900, I think it was. We used to drink that, which was more of a higher ABV than a regular Colt 45. I never really drank St. Ives that much. That was later on when I was in college when that really came out. I wasn't drinking that stuff then. But away from that malt, then we'd be drinking like the Wild Irish Rose once in a while, which no idea why that ever happened. Mad Dog 2020, which everybody's been there. Boone's Farms, everybody's been there.
Why?
Why? The stuff that you should not be drinking for sure. So the rock gut stuff.
Because it was $2 for a gallon.
Yeah. yeah. Schlitz a cult. Yeah. And Gilbert said, cheers, son's off to bed. Thanks, EG. Glad to have you on here tonight. Yeah, we'll be shutting this down here in a second, too. A beer man said the Ripple. The Ripple, I always think of Sanford and Son. Yeah. And then 420 said his son had been trained in Krav Maga for 8 years. He said he was a Boy Scout too, man, and he said he's a Life Scout. It's always good to learn. I'm sorry, Beer Man said he was a Boy Scout and the Life Scout. It's always good to be able to learn those different skill sets. And I went back and mentored with some of the Boy Scouts a couple years ago. And, for me, just picking up some of the things and seeing some of that stuff there and giving them opportunity to do stuff. It was a good thing to do. My wife wants me to actually do it some more. And I just haven't been able to find time to really get involved again. But, at this point, it's almost like preparing youth to be understanding of stuff. I mean, like I said, I had to go to Dallas in June for my nephew's graduation down there. So, I'll probably have a talk with him just to see what his goals are and how he's prepared for the future and stuff too, because it feels like you have to be out there to do something, because if something happens, the last thing you would ever say is, I should have said something I never did or never got around to it, right? So you want to have those conversations and stuff. So, and then again, it's a matter of showing the people around you, telling them, you love them, when you see them, not expecting to be able to tell them later or something like that and everything. If you got people close to you, make sure they know that everything, and just don't know the way things are going. It's just crazy. So that's all I got to say about it. That's Forrest Gump says, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Then the guy says, "Fucking Vietnam." that I don't know if that was a rant or not, but if it was, that was definitely the longest rant I've ever had of anything. But
and a good one.
I would like to, yeah. But I just felt like after this week, seeing the kid this week, the kid last week, which you got to give it up for those kids being heroes for what they did to try to stop the shooter. These kids shouldn't be dying at that age, 21, 18. It just shouldn't be happening. So
for sure,
we got to make it. We got to make it better. So it's like, you want to make America great again? Let's start with addressing these issues that are taking place. So
right.
But that's all I got there, fellas. But I appreciate everybody that was in here. I appreciate everybody that hung out. Appreciate the people that let me banter there for a little bit and respond. Great input there from Beer Man and 420 and everybody along those lines, and appreciate all the different thoughts. It's nice to have these refreshing discussions at one point. I think when you have these discussions, you realize it's not like you're the crazy person or something in the room, because you're able to talk it out with other people and you're able to get other feedback. And I think that's what makes a difference, and that's what people need to move forward and stuff. Yeah. And that's why it's like never good to sit there in a vacuum and always hear the same point all the time. Even if you don't agree with the person on a point they're making, it's good to hear that point, just to kind
just having the discussion. Yeah.
Just having discussion is a big thing. And sometimes you're going to come across stuff and you may click on a few things here and there, but being able to have that discussion, have it in a civilized way, helps to move things forward a lot, because there's different perspectives being shared, and at some point that does matter for sure.
One thing sometimes, especially nowadays, just gets swept under the rug. It's like on to the next topic or whatever,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. So cheers to everybody there. 420 I'm out, but for the record, I have SA 58 Congo and the Cloud 17 Jeff Worth suppressed for home defense. Cheers and peace out, brother. So
cheers.
Good talking with you there, 420, my friend. And with this, I'm going to turn it over to Eric.
All right, guys, if you had too much to drink, please get a designated driver, because it's stupid to drive home drunk. If you do, you're going to get pulled over by the cops. They're going to make you do the stupid-ass sobriety test, then you get a free ride to jail, court fees, and then possible prison time. And then if you hit or kill somebody, you're going to be in the slammer for a while. And if you kill yourself, all you've done is hurt your family and friends and put yourself 6 feet under. All right, just sleep off your buzz, get your car the next day, get an Uber, a taxi, Lyft, have someone at the bar get you a ride, call a buddy and have him pick you up. I mean, in this day and age, it's stupid to drive home drunk because you're going to have thousands upon thousands of dollars in court costs, and who knows what else is going to happen. So don't do it. And if I find out you're doing it, I'm coming with a baseball bat and take your knees out.
We will help him find you for sure. Well, thanks again. Anything you want to mention, Eric, upcoming on your channel for this weekend?
I've got a couple beer reviews coming up, a couple of local Michigan brews coming up here every Wednesday and Saturday. You can find that out. I'm going to do some. I'm finishing up with the draft of the Lions, and we're going to start getting into some Tigers baseball because you guys know I'm a big sports fan. We might talk about a little bit some Michigan State and Michigan football, and maybe a little bit of basketball and all that sort of stuff. And then we're going to do my weekend rambles, which I'm going to get here on Saturday. So that's going to be upcoming here on the channel.
Nice. There's some good things there coming up for Eric's channel, so make sure you check him out as well.
Todd, you got anything for your channel?
Shut up.
He's a beer patrol in the making. So again, if you didn't see earlier, next week there will be no show because I will actually be in Jamaica. So I may try to get some video down there and upload it during the course of the week and stuff. But tomorrow, I've actually got updated stuff happening with the channel in that new show times. So I'm actually switching some things up. Fridays will actually be rolled now at 12 o'clock on the videos, and then Saturday and Sunday will be at 10 o'clock, both in the morning, noon, and then 10 a.m.s on those days. And then I may throw some other stuff up during the week, just messing around with some different things. But I do have a nice review coming up tomorrow. So like for Bumpy and Eastwind up where they're at, I actually have the Baltic Porter review coming up with the Cordon Rouge Barrel Aged Frame and Hammer, a nice Baltic Porter that was actually brewed in brandy barrels. Very nice. And then this weekend I've got a review with the 865cc Stout that I'll upload from DeClaw Brewing, and then a Belgian beer, which will be from Paula Klock, which will be on Sunday as well. So check those out. I'll get some other stuff flowing during the week. Thanks for everybody that cheered in. Hopefully you guys liked it. Hit that like button, subscribe. If you're new here, you haven't subscribed, you want to see more of these, hit that notification bell so you're alerted. But look forward to catching you guys all later. Keep drinking those good craft beers. Remember, there's always time. Get your beer on. And, we got a little heavy into the end of the discussion towards the end. So if I brought you down, I do apologize for that, but it just felt like it had to be said. But, hey, make tomorrow a great day and tell someone that you love them that's close to you, because it's the way things are right now. It's just a good thing to do. So that all being said, cheers. We will look forward to catching you guys next time.
And drink malt liquor.